Last Friday night, Piqua overwhelmed Meadowdale and Trotwood shut out Troy. And tonight, the Indians and the Rams clash in what many people think is this week's biggest high school football game in the Miami Valley. Glad you've joined us tonight from Alexander Stadium, Perk Field, Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby. Bob Luby, what are the keys for a Piqua win tonight?
Well, number one, the Indians will have to eliminate the big play. They have to be able to shrink the field, and it's difficult. More opportunity there is for mistakes. So number one, eliminate the big play. Number two, control the ball. The Indians have to avoid the 3 and out. They have to sustain drives, and when they do that, they keep the ball away from that potent Trotwood offense. And number three, eliminate turnovers. No turnovers. You can't give the ball to a good football team deep in your own territory or anywhere on the field for that matter. So the Indians have to really maintain control of the ball, no fumbles, no interceptions, keep control of the football.
Well, Bob, as we look at the playing surface, it's going to be a beautiful night. A little chilly and no rain, so it looks to me like it might be what you call a fall night for football. But before we go any further, how about the starting lineups for both the Indians and the Rams?
Well, the Indians won the toss, and they elected to defer to the second half, so they'll go on defense, and they'll line up defensively across the front with number 57, Grant Toops, a 6'2", 224-pound junior. Also, Brendan Toops will be on across the front four. He's number 51. He's a 6', 209-pound junior. Zane Arbogast, number 65, will be at a defensive tackle. He's 6'1", 225 pounds. And number 85, Derek Height, will be at a defensive end. He's 6'3", 269. The linebackers, number 11, Mick Karn, 5'11", 172-pound junior. Ben Smeezing, 6'2", 222-pound senior, number 23, and Evan Smith, number 35. He is a junior. The corners are number 7, Jacob Bushnell, 5'11", 183-pound senior, and Jim Congdon, a 5'9", 165-pound senior. And in safety, McKeegan Kuhn, 6', 203-pound sophomore, and Hayden Shrub, a 6'3", 183-pound senior. Offensively for Trotwood Madison, they'll line up at center with number 67, Nicholas Dennis. Now, we have no height and weight for any of the Trotwood players, so we'll just give you their names and numbers. The guards will be Kason Johnson, number 50. He's a senior. And Michael Stevens, number 53. He is a sophomore. The tackles, Jason Williams, number 54, junior. Ian Scott, number 70. He's a senior. Tight end, number 88, Justin Stevens. He is a junior. Quarterback, and this is the focus of the offense, number 3, Markel Stephen Peppers. He's a senior. The receivers, number 18, Isaiah Winchester. He's a junior wide receiver. And number 5, William McDaniel. He is also a senior wide receiver. And Dallas Daniels, number 2, a senior wide receiver. Running back, number 1, Ravelon Hargrove. He is a senior. Those are your starting lineups.
Well, again, a reminder that you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics, Channel 5. Again, Bob, here are the officials for tonight's game. Larry Clemens is the referee. Rich Fox is the umpire. Rob Coles is the linesman. Billy Willis is the line judge. And Justin McCullough is the back judge. Again, the Piqua High School band is on the surface. We're waiting for the national anthem, but until then, Bob, a note or two about last week's scores. Those scores, both lopsided. Got to be careful you don't read too much into them.
Right. Piqua manhandled Meadowdale, but again, not a really much of a test for the Indians. Meadowdale only dressed, I believe, in the neighborhood of 25 people for the game. They were just severely outmanned. The Indians wanted to for the most part in the first half. In the second half, the Indians played a lot of their second and third stringers, backups. So Again, great win for the Indians, but it wasn't a true indication based on the opponent that they played.
Well, again, people who are going to be listening to us after these home games might want to know where to find the broadcast. Well, tonight's game will be broadcast on Monday, and all of the games, home games, will be followed by a Monday replay at 5:30 p.m. The coaches show at 4:30, the pregame show at 5 p.m. So again, you can also find the game on your mobile device, your counter laptop, by going to thecampusnation.com. Find the Piqua Indians tab, click it, and find the game you'd like to view. Campusnation.com is the sports animal. So that's how you'll get us on Monday after all of the home games here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. It's going to be a cool night here at the stadium. Pretty decent crowd in front of us, but again, not many people from the opponents, the Trotwood Madison Rams. Bob, it's a shame that a team as good as the Trotwood Madison Rams simply cannot bring anybody with them when they go on the road.
Yeah, that's a team that went to the state finals last year in football. So, they have a traditional of playing good football and advancing through the playoffs. A good, solid program, but no, they don't follow them.
And that's a shame. But again, we're here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. We're waiting now for both teams to come out of the dressing room, and at that time we'll have the national anthem. But again, just a couple notes or so. This year is the first year for the inaugural All-Sports Trophy between Piqua and Sidney. Both schools agreed last spring to this year-long competition, which includes all teams from the fall-winter sports season. Each game between the Indians and the Jackets has a point total that was agreed by coaching staffs from both schools. The first school to reach 11.5 points wins the trophy. Currently, after the first few weeks of the fall season, Piqua leads the competition over Sidney 2-1. So that's a little bit about that all-sports trophy between Piqua and Sidney you've been hearing about, and ought to be interesting. They have a very nice display of that rivalry in the Uri Wilcox cafeteria area, and so if you get a chance, come out and take a peek. The Trotwood Madison Rams have found their way to the field, but I think we're waiting now for the Indians to come out, and then we'll have the national anthem, and then we'll kick this one off as we start the second week of this current football season, one that is going to be met with a lot of enthusiasm. Here come the Indians. Good job, camera two. Waiting now for the Indians to go through their pregame festivities, and then we're going to have the national anthem. Waiting now for Mitch Mahaney, the band director, to lead the band in the national anthem, and we're ready now. People here at the stadium are being asked to stand for the playing of our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, and here comes the Piqua High School band to favor us with the national anthem as we get ready to kick it off here in week number 2 of the 2017 season. Piqua versus Trotwood Madison, both teams with big lopsided victories last Friday night, but this could be an altogether different ball game. Bob, are you expecting a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game or something right in the middle?
I think there'll be a lot of points put on the scoreboard. I really do. I'm not sure if it'll be a combination thereof or one team putting a lot of points, but I think there will be a lot of points.
And now let's stand for the national anthem. national anthem nicely done by the Piqua High School Marching Band. A reminder that you're listening to Piqua High School football. You're watching high school football on the Indian Nation Station. You're home for Piqua Athletics on Channel 5. Glad you joined us, Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby, and we're just a minute or so away from the opening kickoff of this one. We think it's going to be a dandy, and we're glad that you're able to join us. Bob, another game, but going to be a little bit different type of game than we saw last Friday night when you and I ventured to Welcome Stadium to see Piqua play Meadowdale.
I think this game will be worth some computer points to somebody down the road. You look at Trotwood's schedule, and really, they opened, last week with Troy, and they finish up with Wayne, and in the middle, they have really some opponents that aren't going to generate a whole lot of interest up and down the interstate. This is important. Trotwood needs to win this game to remain in contention, I think, in the playoff picture, and of course same for Piqua. So this is critical.
Robbie Comstock's going to kick it off for the Indians. They're going to go from our right to left. The officials are going to their positions, and we're just about ready to get this one underway. Deep for the Trotwood Madison Rams going to be number 1, Ravelon Hargrove, and he is a speedster from way back, along with number 20. And again, they're waiting now for Comstock's kick, and we're going to be ready to get this one underway. Glad you've joined us for what we think is going to be an exciting ball game.
And again, the threat, Ravelon Hargrove will be the return man. This guy can fly. He's got some jets, and you hope you don't allow him to field the ball on the fly in the air, because if he gets a running start, he can find a gap in that kick return team, or the kicking team, and cause you a lot of problems. So defending this kickoff is going to be critical for the Indians, a way to start the game on a positive note.
Hargrove is deep, along with number 5. That's William McDaniel, and we have to apologize. Also back deep is going to be number 20, and in the roster we received from Trotwood Madison, they don't have a number 20 on the roster, so we can't even tell you what his name might be, but now he's being replaced by someone else in the back. So let's see what happens as Comstock gets ready to kick it off for the Indians. Glad you've joined us. Comstock's ready, gets the signal from the referee. Here's the kick, it's going to go deep, going to be picked up at the 10-yard line. Here comes number 2 is Dallas Daniels. He gets up to about the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Trotwood Madison Rams, and we get this one underway from Alexander Stadium, Perk Field.
That was good coverage by the Indians. Anytime you hold a team like Trotwood from 30 yards in, you're doing a good job, and they did a good job there.
Let's see what happens as the Trotwood Madison offense gets organized and gets up to the line of scrimmage for the first play from scrimmage. Stevens Peppers is the quarterback. Hands it off to number 1, that's Ravelon Hargrove. Hargrove around the left side. Nice defensive work there by the Indians. Held him basically, Bob, to, I think he held him to a yard.
Yeah, maybe two, but they did a good job supporting. Defensive backs came up, Hayden Shrub, Jacob Bushnell really came up and shut that down.
Here come the Rams up to the line of scrimmage. Back to pass, getting all kinds of pressure, and gets away from a couple Indian tacklers. He's a left-hander, throws it down the sideline, incomplete, intended for William McDaniel. So it goes incomplete. Going to be third down. Let's call it third down and 8.
I'll tell you, he was awfully close being past the line of scrimmage on that play. I was watching, and if he'd have taken another step, he may have been over the line of scrimmage.
Good pressure by the Indians, Bob.
Yeah, they did. He got immediate pressure, and that's what caused him to have to drift out to the right.
Rams back to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback going to try to pass. Incomplete. Intended for number 88, but again, we don't know who number 88 is. Another one of those young men whose name was not included in the roster. It falls incomplete. That's 4th and 8, and so the Rams are going to have to kick it away to the Indians. A nice first series defensively for Piqua, Bob.
Yeah, you're right. Good way to start the ball game, a 3 and out, and the Indians should get the ball back in relatively good field position here.
Ready for the snap. Here's the kick. High kick. Fair catch called for by Piqua. Fair catch called by Evan Smith. So the Indians take over 1st and 10. And let's see what happens as the Indians try to capitalize on that nice defensive stand of the defense. So here comes the Piqua offense. Let's see what happens. We got Austin Davis, number 3. He's the quarterback. Davis waiting for the snap. He's going to keep the ball, go around the left side. Picks up about 5 yards, gets to about the 32-yard line. Austin Davis.
I think that was a predetermined play. He dropped back. It was like a quarterback draw. And Austin Davis just followed his blockers on the left side of the line, Riley Hill and Brent Lemon, and picked up 5 yards, yeah.
2nd and 5 for the Indians. This time Austin Davis is over center. Hand off to Ben Smeezing. Ben Smeezing off the right side. Going to be short of the first down. Gets to about the 36-yard line.
Yeah, Ben Smeezing just on a dive-type play. Ben puts his head down. Ben's strong, 6'2", 222 pounds, and he can provide a wallop in there running the football. So against this 43 stacked defense of Trotwood, the Indians' first 2 plays have been successful.
3rd and 1. Hand off to Smeezing again. He's got the first down plus a couple extra yards. Ben Smeezing all the way to the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Piqua.
So you have to like Ben Smeezing's motor. Boy, he never quits. His legs keep moving, puts his pads down. His pad level's good, and he comes in there and punishes a tackler.
Indians back to the line of scrimmage. Austin Davis from the shotgun hands it off to number 35. That's Evan Smith. Evan Smith gets, let's give him 2. That might be a bit generous, but let's call it 2nd down and 8.
Indians content to stay on the ground right now, which is, been pretty successful for them thus far. They must feel that they can handle that Trotwood front 4. And with the offensive line the Indians have, they have a lot of talent, and they're getting off the football, sustaining blocks, and knocking Trotwood back.
Davis looking to pass, finds Hayden Shrub. Hayden Shrub at midfield. Completed pass, going to be awfully close to a first down. Let's see what the officials tell us. Are they going to call it a first down? We're waiting for him to move the sticks. Well, we're still waiting for a signal. I guess they're saying it's a yard short. That doesn't look like that's the case across the way. Now they are going to move the stakes. 1st and 10 for the Indians.
That was a delayed move.
3 wideouts for Piqua to the far side, 1 to the near side. In the shotgun, Austin Davis. Looking to the sideline for Hayden Shrub again. Hayden Shrub gathers it in, gets down to about the 40-yard line. Let's call it the 39.
Hayden Shrub does a good job out there running his pass routes. He gets a lot of good separation from the defensive backs, and he's got good hands. You throw him the football, he's going to catch most of those passes.
Let's give him a gain of 9, 2nd down and 1. Bob, it's a little early, but in the first few minutes of this ball game, you got to like the crispness of the Piqua defense and the effectiveness of the offense. Austin Davis off to the right side. Whoa, this time he threw it out to number 5. That's Cale Mextro, but Cale that time was able to gather it in, but knocked down for about a 3 or 4 yard loss.
Yeah, good job coverage by Trotwood. They read that immediately coming out of the blocks and really stuffed Mextro. So the Indians are going to be facing a 3rd and a long 3.
Hayden Shrub brought the play in from the sideline. Davis over center. Hands it off to Smeezing. Ben Smeezing. Ben's going to have enough for a 1st down. Ben Smeezing off right tackle. Gets the yardage plus a little bit more. 1st and 10 for the Indians as they're driving here in the 1st quarter.
Another good job by Ben Smeezing. Just a tough youngster to bring down. I always used to tell you, be your own blocker. If there's not a hole there, you punish the tackler. You can gain an extra yard or 2 if you put that shoulder down and drive into him.
1st and 10 for the Indians. Davis, quick pass out to Colin Rowe. Colin Rowe gets pushed out of bounds inside the 35-yard line down to about the 31.
I'll tell you, Mextro had a good block out on the perimeter that time that allowed Rowe to catch the football and pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Bob, it's early, but so far they're mixing up that pass and the run. You have to be impressed so far what we've seen here tonight against the Rams.
Controlling the ball, that was one of the keys.
Davis looking downfield, got somebody. There's going to be a pass interference call against the Rams. Cale Mextro was open. The ball hit him, but before the ball got there, he was knocked down. I think it's going to have to go against the Trotwood Madison Rams.
Yeah, he got there too early. He had his hands on Cale Mextro before the ball arrived, and that's a neat. They're
going to wave it. They're going to
ball
wave
tipped?
it off.
Was the ball tipped?
The official said we're not going to call that penalty. Boy, Bob, I
hate to get in the job of officiating,
yes.
but boy, oh boy.
There wasn't anybody around him.
No, everything I saw was contact before the ball arrived.
So that's going to make it 3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down and 4 for the Indians. Ball resting near the 30-yard line. Davis looking to the sideline. He got it to Hayden Shrub. Was it complete?
Yes.
And I believe it was at about the 20-yard line, which will be good for another Piqua 1st down. Boy, Hayden Shrub had to dance around that sideline, but was able to pull it in for a Piqua 1st down.
Again, nice route run by Hayden Shrub, and the ability to get to the ball shined on that play because he just planted his foot, went up and fought the defender, and came down with the football.
Ball's on the 21-yard line of the Rams. Davis to Smeezing. Smeezing's got some running room. Smeezing inside the 15 all the way down to about the 10-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it. Boy, are they mixing up those plays nicely, Bob. Got the defense of the Trotwood Madison Rams a little bit confused.
That's about the 10th play in this series for the Indians, maintaining ball control. And again, we talked about it. Trotwood doesn't have the football. they're not much of a threat to score.
That's exactly right. Trotwood Madison Rams decided to call timeout, reminding you you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station. You're home for Piqua Athletics. So let's see what Bill Neese decides to do after the timeout. Davis over center. Wideouts to the top end of the near side. This goes to Ben Smeezy. This time the Rams were looking for him, threw him for about a 1 or maybe a 2-yard loss. Not that time, Bob. Too many white jerseys.
Yeah, too much penetration. You can't allow penetration like that into your backfield because it disrupts, blows up the play, and that's what we had there. They brought a lot of people, had a lot of people in the box, and they brought them pretty strong. So makes it tough to block, but you got to adapt your play calling to that kind of situation.
2nd down and goal to go. Davis looks over the defense. Gonna go back to pass. Got somebody open in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown to number 85. That's Derek Hyde all by himself in the end zone, Bob. Oh, what a beautiful drive by the Indians. They're on the scoreboard first. They've got 6.
Again, Trotwood crowding the box, probably looking for Smeezing to get the football. And that was a nice call. Derek Kite hits his man on the line of scrimmage from his tight end position and slides off, goes into the end zone uncovered.
Robbie Comstock going to try to make it a 7-0 ball game. Kick is up. It is good. With 6:09 left in the first quarter, the Indians with a very, very impressive drive. They put one on the scoreboard. The final play of that was Davis to Derek Hyde. He was all by himself in the end zone, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Beautifully done, not from a passing point of view, but from getting open. Derek Hyde all by himself to score for the Indians.
Yeah, good call, and good execution by the Indians. They, again, doing a nice job with the pass protection. Trotwood defensive line is maybe getting handled, I would say, at this point by the Piqua offensive line.
Let's see what happens as the Indians get Robbie Comstock ready to kick it off for the Indians. Let's see who goes deep for the Rams. Looks like it's going to be Hargrove. He's their speedster. Comstock will kick it off. 6 minutes, 9 seconds left to go, first quarter. The Indians draw blood first.
Now here's what you want to be careful with. You don't want to put that kickoff in the hands of one of the high-powered Trotwood backs, the speedsters. So you got to aim that thing or drill it down on the ground so it bounces around a little bit.
Here's a line drive kick all the way down to the 12-yard line. Let's see who brings it out. It's going to be number 6. That's going to be Chedrian Satterwhite. He brings it up to about the 27-yard line before he dropped by a host of blue jerseys. So the Rams get the ball for the second time here in the first quarter, and the Indians were equal to that task when they had it the first time as they took the kickoff.
Well,
let's see what happens, Bob.
Well, the first time Trotwood had the football, they were 3 and out. The Indians hope to duplicate that situation here with 5:59 remaining in the first quarter.
Stevens Peppers is their quarterback.
He's dangerous. He can run, he can throw, and we haven't seen his best performance yet. I think that's yet to come in this game.
He's in the shotgun.
Stop right there, Mike. Stop right there.
Trotwood has 3 receivers out here to the right.
Stevens Peppers keeps the ball, goes over the left tackle spot, gets about 7, maybe 8 before he's dropped in there by, that's Derek Hyde again, along with number 20, and that is Jim Congdon.
Well, Trotwood bunched 3 receivers out to the right, hoping to pull the defense out that way a little bit, and Peppers just kept the football and does what he does well, is run.
9-yard gain, 2nd and 1. Pass play. This pass play is going to go to William Daniel picks it off at midfield, able to get one more yard, so it's in Piqua territory, and that's going to be enough for a Trotwood Madison first down. 1st and 10. Indians with an early 7-0 lead. Stevens Peppers. This time he's going to be over center. Going to pass it again over here on the far side. Gets it off to Dallas Daniels. Dallas Daniels catches it, but he has met Ben Smeezing on that one very, very quickly. Ben gets credit for the tackle along with Jacob Bushnell. 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 5.
Hey, Ben Smeezing can put the hurts on you. He's a well-built young man. He knows how to tackle. He can play defense, I think, as well as he plays offense.
Let's see what the Rams do on a 2nd and 5. Back to pass. Long pass going to go down towards the end zone. It's going to be caught by number 6. That's Tedrian Satterwhite. He got beyond the defender, and he took it in for a Trotwood Madison first down. Bob, that was a beautiful pass. He got behind the defender, and Stevens Peppers threw it right in his lap, and he takes it in for a touchdown. Now they've got a chance to tie it at 7.
Yeah, there's the big play concept of Trotwood. They have that ability, and looks like number, I couldn't tell who was defensively. I think maybe McKeegan Kuhn, number 37, just was beaten. He's a sophomore, and he's learning a lot out there.
Stevens Peppers under center. They're going to try to go for 2, and then we have a timeout called by Trotwood Madison. Just a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. You're home for Piqua Athletics on Channel 5. Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby from Alexander Stadium, 7-6 with the Rams looking like they're going to try to see if they can find themselves an 8-7 lead. Boy, that was a big play, Bob. You mentioned in the beginning the big play was going to be important. That one hurt the Indians.
Well, you know, as a defensive back, you have to determine the speed of the receivers versus your speed. And if you feel like they're faster than you, you have to give them a little more cushion. And you can't allow yourself to be beaten deep like that. And I think this is interesting. Trotwood's going to go for the 2. Well, I think they are. This early in the game.
Yes, they are.
I don't know whether that means they really don't have a kicker or they hope to grab a 1-point lead.
Stevens Peppers over center. A pass in the far side of the end zone.
Good.
He got it. Pass receiver is able to get it in the far corner, so the 2-point conversion is good. So with the 4:15 left to go in the first quarter, the Rams have taken an 8-7 lead. Boy, that was a sudden change of direction, wasn't it?
Doesn't take long. I say they're a big play team, and they can score from anywhere on the field. They have the athletes to do it. They have the skill to do it, and by golly, and the speed. So you have to respect that when they have the football.
So the Rams are going to put it in play, and the Indians are going to go on offense. The first offensive drive resulted in a beautifully executed touchdown from Davis to Height. Let's see what happens as the Rams are going to kick it off to the Indians. Kennedy Coates is the kicker for the Rams. Deep for Piqua. Ben Smeezing, Hayden Shrub, and Evan Smith. Kennedy Coates waiting for the signal from the referee. Line drive kick. Going to go out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
So I imagine the Indians will take that on the 35.
He's down there on the right side. Follow him, zoom in.
I believe they have an option, don't they, Bob?
They do. They could decline that
Let's
penalty.
see what Bill Neese decides to do. Waiting for the signal from the referee.
You're good right there.
I believe they're gonna.
You'd
I
have
believe
to
they're gonna have him
again?
kick it over, Bob. Gonna take, it's a 5-yard penalty, as I recall, and Kennedy Coates is going to kick it off again. You think it was deliberately kicked to that side of the field, or was it just a bad kick?
I'm not sure. I'm not that familiar with their kicker. He may be just an erratic kicker. But, you know, getting it on the 35, I think that's where they get it, too. That's pretty good field position, but the Indians must feel they can get better field position by running it back.
But again, Bob, as I see Ben Smeezing on the 20-yard line, even though he went back 5 yards, that's telling me that the scouting report indicated that Kennedy Coates didn't kick him too long, or they'd be a little closer to their own end zone, and Ben Smeezing is standing at the 20-yard line.
Good point.
I believe the scouting report might have said this is what we ought to do in this situation. Kennedy Coates puts it on the tee. Line drive kick this time to Hayden Strub at the 25. Hayden picks it up, gets down the far sideline, and gets out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Bob, I'm not so sure when you look at the two options that they just about washed, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty equal working of that solution, work out of that solution. I guess the Indians are going to get the ball on the 38, which was a little more than they would have had before, but doesn't matter. 1st and 10.
Indians with the football as we wind down the first quarter of play. Trotwood Madison 8, Piqua 7. Austin Davis this time hands it off to his running back. I think that's Mendoza, if I'm not mistaken. Arturo Mendoza got maybe one. That's just about all he was able to get, so it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
Colin Rowe comes into the game now for the Indians, number 2. Maybe bring a play in, and he'll line up in the backfield.
Let's see what happens as the Indians put it in play. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Davis back to pass, looking deep. Oh, he's got Hayden Strub loose. Did Hayden get it in bounds? No. Referee said he hit it. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. So incomplete pass. Hayden Strub's got good hands, but stepped over the chalk line.
Yeah, ran out of space out there. It was well thrown. Could have been thrown more to the inside, obviously. So now the Indians are faced with a 3rd and 9 here in the first quarter. 3:17 remaining. Trotwood ahead of Piqua 8-7.
Hayden Strub brings a play in from the sideline. Third down and 9 for the Indians. Davis back to pass, getting some pressure and gets tripped up for a loss. So that's going to bring up a 4th down situation. It's going to be 4th and about 4th and 12, so the Indians are going to have to punt it away.
Well, the first series, the Indians ran 12 plays and scored a touchdown. This time they're going to be 3 and out, and Trotwood's going to get the ball back with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first quarter.
Mick Karn does the kicking for the Indians. He's standing at about the 23, 24-yard line. Waiting for the snap. And the kick. Oh! Gets a high kick away. Let's see what happens to it. It's down there at about the 30, let's call it the 36-yard line. Going to be 1st and 10 for the Rams. Although we do see a flag on the play, I'm not exactly sure what it's all about. Thrown to the ground by the referee. We'll see what the call is. Holding call against Trotwood Madison.
Stay on there. Camera 1, take 1.
Is that a 10-yarder?
I'm just wondering, Bob, if
Is that automatic first down?
that's a good question. Holding call against Trotwood Madison. Let's see what that's going to end up doing to that 4th down decision that I believe the offensive group is going to go back on the, well, let's see once, Bob. It's kind of hard to tell what group's going on and what group's going off. I believe Mick Carnes going back on the field, so I'm assuming that it's going to be a little short. Yes,
it's going to
they
be
moved
4th
the
down.
sticks.
Yep.
They moved the sticks. It's going to be 4th down and about 2. But Bill Neese decides we're kicking away, and Mick Carnes now standing at his own 35-yard line.
Mikey, stay where you are. Have her go back to the left.
Stephen Peppers is one of the Rams deep. Line drive type kick. Peppers is going to get it at about the 20-yard line, reverses his field. Now he's going to try to go around the far side. He's got 3 blockers in front of him. This could spell trouble for the Indians if they can't knock him out of bounds, and they finally do, but not until he gets to the Piqua 41-yard line.
There's another big play we talked about, one of the punt returns, kickoff returns, the things you have to monitor very carefully against a team like Trotwood.
2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. The 2 big plays have basically been the difference here as far as the Rams are concerned. The big pass play and the punt return. Let's see what they do now that they've got the football in Piqua territory. Stevens Peppers over center. Hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove that time knocked down. Guess what? Knocked down by number 23, Ben Smeezing. No gain. Beautiful play by Ben Smeezing, Bob.
That's what he does well. He got off his block, found the ball carrier, and took him to the ground. And Ravelon Hargrove is not easy to catch up with. He's got great quickness, good speed, and Ben Smeezing, great job.
2nd down and 10. Stephen Peppers looking to the sideline. Now he's looking downfield, trying to hit a receiver. Receiver couldn't handle it, and it goes incomplete. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 play for the Rams as we wind down the first quarter of play here from Alexander Stadium.
1 minute, 14 seconds left. 3rd down for Trotwood. Now, Indians defensive backs have to be alert here because you almost feel like they're going to have to go through the air a little bit and spread the Indians out. So Indians have to give enough cushion not to get beat deep, but enough to play it tough.
Stephen Peppers getting some pressure. Going to throw it downfield complete at about the 25-yard line, but we've got a flag on the play. Let's see what that one's all about. I'm not so sure he caught that one in bounds, but right now it doesn't seem to make any difference because everybody's coming back to where they snapped them. Must have been a penalty against the Rams. We'll find out in just a moment. Personal foul against Trotwood Madison. So that's going to put them back at their own 42-yard line. So big penalty against Trotwood Madison.
It's going to give them another shot at a 3rd down play, but they're going to have a portion of the field to navigate here. It's going to be 3rd and 25.
Well, to remember one of your quotes, you don't know if they've got a 3rd and 30 play in that playbook, Bob.
No, but with a guy like Stevens Peppers, he can make a play like that. He's creative.
Here's Stevens Peppers. Off to the left side, hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove dodging a couple of Piqua Indians, but they bring him down right at midfield. So that's going to bring up a 4th down situation for the Rams.
Good reaction by the Piqua defense. Hargrove got the ball out in the flat, but the Indians had to chase him a little bit, but a lot of good pursuit by the Indian defense. Arrived at the scene, took Hargrove down. Now they're going to be forced to punt.
Their punter is number 11. That's right, Jalen Watson. Deep from Piqua. Hayden Shrub and Evan Smith.
I don't know why the clock was stopped, but
waiting now for the snap from center. Kick, not deep but high. Fair catch called for by number 35, Evan Smith. So the Indians take over 1st and 10. Looks like they're going to place the ball on the Indian 22-yard line. Well, the Indians defense did it again, Bob, but right now, offensively, they need another score.
Yeah, they were helped a little bit by penalties, but that's okay. That's part of a football game. But again, ball possession, ball control. The Indians need a sustained drive. Don't want to go 3 and out. Want to maintain possession here with 21 seconds left in the first quarter.
3 wideouts to the top side, 1 to the near side for the Indians. Hand off again. That goes to number 35. That's Evan Smith. Evan Smith tried right tackle or left tackle, but didn't have much luck. In fact, got back to the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Well, James Parker, number 9, linebacker, was coming. He was coming across the line of scrimmage, got the penetration, and brought the ball carrier down as the first quarter ends.
That's the end of the first quarter. Just a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station. You're home for Piqua Athletics. 8-7 after 1 quarter of play. Bob, when you look at that first quarter of play, I tend to think that in spite of the fact that the Indians trailed by 1, wasn't such a bad outing.
No, I thought they did well in a lot of areas. They're just going to have to realize and be reminded of the Trotwood athleticism, and especially in the passing game. You can't allow the Trotwood receivers to get behind you or even close to you, because they're so athletic, they cause you a lot of problems.
Recognizing some of the Piqua athletes on the sideline. Indians huddled around Bill Neese, now out on the field as they get ready to put it in play as we start the second quarter. We're live on the Indian Nation Station with Piqua Indian High School football, and we're glad that you've joined us. First down didn't get Indians anything, but the second down and 10 coming right up. 3 wide outs to the near side, 1 to the far side. Austin Davis over the middle. Boy, that was a completed pass. Wasn't any question that Cale Mextra all by himself hauled it in at about the, see where they're at the 30-yard line. Looks like it's going to be third down. Let's call it third down and maybe a long 2.
Cale, I thought he may be able to break that, because there were a couple missed tackles, arm tackles. Trotwood defenders came up and reached out, and Cale kind of planted that foot and was going to go around it, but the rest of the Trotwood defenders arrived at the scene and cleaned up.
Austin Davis over center. Hand off to Ben Schmeezing. Ben tries the right tackle, got a few. Let's see if he got enough for a first down.
It's going to be close if he didn't get it.
They're moving the sticks across the way. 1st and 10 for the Indians. Ben Schmeezing.
Mr. Reliable.
First and 10 for the Indians. Ball resting on their own 34-yard line. Austin Davis looking for a receiver. Going to throw it deep. Got Hayden Shrub at the 30-yard line, but overthrew him and out of bounds. Incomplete pass, going to make it second down and 10 for the Indians. Hayden Shrub was pretty well covered that time, Bob.
Good job, yeah, by the Trotwood defense. Hayden Shrub ran a jet just down straight out, but the defender was right on him. Well thrown ball, but very hard to complete that pass.
Second down and 10. Austin Davis operating out of the shotgun. Wide outs to the top side and to the near side. Oh, ball's on the ground. It's a fumble. Let's see who got it. And the Indians coughed it up to the Rams. A bad handoff. It falls to the ground, and it's picked off by number 28, and that is Kashawn Hughley for the Rams.
Well,
a costly turnover, Bob.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about in keys to the game, you can't turn the ball over, especially semi-deep in your own territory. You don't want to give Trotwood those opportunities. They have enough. They make enough opportunities for themselves. Don't give it to them.
So the Rams with the ball, first and 10. They've got it on Piqua's 33-yard line. They're in the I formation this time. Stevens Peppers going to go back to pass to the far sideline, overthrew his receiver, and that's going to make it second down and 10. That pass was intended for Tedrian Satterwhite, who scored the only touchdown that the Rams have been able to put on the board this evening.
Pretty good coverage by Jacob Bushnell. Jacob was right with him on the sideline pattern. Ball was overthrown, but Jacob was right there if it would have been thrown well.
Second and 10. This time the handoff goes to Hargrove. Hargrove gets lots of running room, gets inside the 20, and is going to pick up a first down for the Rams.
He slipped through. There was a crease. He found it, and it doesn't take much of a crease for him to run through. Not real big, but boy, he can scoot.
Ball resting right on the 20-yard line. First and 10 for the Rams. Opening minutes of the second quarter here from Alexander Stadium. Hand off to Hargrove again, right up the middle this time. He's going to get inside the 15-yard line down to about the 12. Right now, Hargrove's hurting the Indians, Bob.
He is, and again, one of the weapons that they have. You know, they like to throw the ball, they like to run it, they like to get it in the hands of Hargrove, and that's what they're trying to do right now. Ravelon Hargrove is finding lots of space to run, and again, the offensive line for Trotwood, you have to give them credit. They're opening some holes.
And Bill Neese decides to call timeout. Bill Neese, who's known for his defensive stops, is trying to find one right here as the clock says we've got 9:57 left to go in this first half. The score, Trotwood Madison 8, Piqua 7.
You need to force a turnover here, or just some way keep Trotwood out of the end zone. You don't want to allow them to get a score ahead of you, or a touchdown ahead of you in this case. They're ahead 8-7, but you know, with the power they have, the ability to score anywhere on the field quickly, you don't want that to happen.
And Hargrove, the last two times he's handled the ball, has been able to find an opening in that Piqua defense. Let's see what happens as Stevens Peppers brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Hargrove again. This time down probably for no gain. Nice defensive work in there. Ben Smeezing's getting off the stack. And let's see if I think that was Derek Height, if I'm not mistaken, also to make the stop on Hargrove. Big play right there. big play right here.
Yeah, he wanted to run inside, but there was nothing, and he tried to kick it outside. There was a pile, and he ran right into the pile. So Indians did a good job on that particular play. Third down. Third and about 4 here at the Piqua 14.
Stevens Peppers over center. He's going to pass, going to try the end zone. Throws it well beyond the receiver. This time tried to get it to Q1. Nope, tried to get it to Tidrian Satterwhite, who picked one off earlier for a touchdown. Well beyond him, incomplete. It's going to be 4th down. Now let's see what the Rams decide to do with 4th down.
I'm going to guess, I might be wrong, I'm going to guess they don't have a field goal kicker.
I'm not so sure the kicking game is real strong. Let's see what Coach Graham decides to do. Looks like they're going to try something other than the field goal.
And it puts a lot of pressure on the Piqua defense because of Hargrove being back there. They might want to get the ball to him, where they got 3 receivers out here to the left side.
Stevens Peppers, the quarterback's keeping the ball. Let's see if he's going to have enough for a 1st down, and I believe he does, Bob. Boy, that was a big 1st down for the Rams, and now it's going to be goal to goal. Ball resting, looks to me like it's about the 6-yard line.
It is, and again, one of the weapons that Trotwood can employ, the quarterback, not only can he throw, he can run. So as a defender, you have to worry about Hargrove, you have to worry about Peppers, and their outstanding wide receivers.
Rams breaking the huddle. Goal to goal, ball resting on the 6-yard line. Peppers to Hargrove. Hargrove's going to take it into the end zone for a Trotwood Madison score. So with 8:28 left to go in the 1st half, the Trotwood Madison Rams put another one on the board. And now let's see if they're going to go for 2 for the extra point they did after the 1st touchdown. And it appears to me that that's not going to change after the 2nd one.
Hey, you guys are doing great.
Right now, Hargrove is hurting us, Bob.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the guys that's hurting us. And when you try to be concerned about Hargrove, they got Peppers. Markel Stevens Peppers, who is very athletic and can make plays, and he certainly did down here.
Try for 2. Stephen Peppers hands it off to Hargrove. I think Hargrove's going to be short of the end zone, Bob. It's no good. So the score with 8:28 left to go in the 1st half, Trotwood 14 and Piqua 7. Just a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics. Indians need to recover now, Bob, and put something on the scoreboard to answer for that touchdown.
Yeah, you don't want to allow a team like Trotwood to get very far ahead of you because, boy, again, they can put points on the board quickly. And you want to stay very close to them and stay in the game because they can hit, punt returns, kickoff returns. They have that ability. So the Indians need to come back and score on this drive or somewhere before halftime score again so they can go in a reasonably good shape.
Indians made it look good the first time they had the football, but since then it's been a bit of a struggle. Let's see what happens as Ben Smeezing is going to be deep for the Indians, standing at about the 15-yard line. Kicking the football for the Rams is Jalen Watson. Here come the Rams kickoff. Smeezing waiting deep. Squibber picked up on the far side by Hayden Shrub. Hayden picks up some blocks. Hayden all the way to the 45-yard line. So the Indians are going to have it in awfully good field position. They're going to have it on their own 45-yard line. Bob, there's one observation I can make about the Rams after 1.5 quarters. Their kicking game isn't very strong.
No, it's never been a strong point of their football program, but they make up for it by playing good defense and having a lot of gifted athletes who can make plays. So I guess they give up that portion of it.
1st and 10 for Piqua. Austin Davis hands it off to Ben Smazing. Ben Smazing might have enough for a first down. I believe he does. Ben Smazing all the way down to the 44-yard line. Good for a Piqua first down. Boy, Ben Smazing's an athlete, Bob.
Oh, yes, that read option, quarterback Davis just put it in Ben's gut there. And was he going to pull it out or let Ben keep it? And he let him keep it and picked up the first down.
1st and 10. This handoff goes, I think, to Evan Brown. Nope, that got to Ben Schmizing as well. Ben tried left tackle, not much luck that time. Let's give him one.
Yeah, Trotwood stepped up on that side of the defense. Really did a nice job of slowing that down. Sam Anderson and Kawan Garrett shut that down for Trotwood. So the Indians facing a 2nd long, and they have the ball in Trotwood territory, which makes it a little more, makes it easier for the Indians to make some play calls here. You don't have to be as selective.
3 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the top side. Austin Davis looking to the sidelines, got a receiver. And the receiver is, yes it is, it's Hayden Shrub again. Hayden Shrub's got it, but also not only catches the ball, but it's got enough for a first down for the Indians.
I'm surprised.
I like Hayden Shrub.
I'm surprised at the cushion the Trotwood defenders are giving Piqua. They're almost saying, hey, we're going to give you that short 8-9 yard pass. We just don't want to allow you to beat us deep. So I would take advantage of it. They're going to give me 8 or 9 yards. I'll continue throwing that 8 or 9 yard pass.
A lot of our receivers have been wide open, haven't they? Let's see what happens on 1st and 10. Handoff inside to Smazing again. Smazing this time picks up 8 yards. He's at the 26-yard line of the Rams. So another big hitter by Ben Smazing. Going to be second. Let's call it 2nd down and 2.
Well, you have a thoroughbred. I guess you want to ride it, and that's what the Indians are doing. They're riding Ben Smazing right down the field here. With 6:20 left in the first half, the Indians are controlling the football. They're trailing 14-7, but they're getting down deep into Trotwood territory.
Two wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side, as Austin Davis gets the snap. He's going to pass. Looking to the far corner, gets it over to K.O. Mextroth. K.O. Mextroth gets it to the 20-yard line. Looks like something good for another Piqua first down.
Again, gave K.O. a lot of cushion. He caught the ball out in the flat, but good recovery by the Trotwood defender. And that looks like that is number 17, Avion Daniels.
Here come the Indians up to the line of scrimmage. Ball resting right on the 20-yard line. Handoff this time goes to Arturo Mendoza. Arturo tests the middle of the defense, picked up a yard, so it's going to be 2nd down and 9.
What happened? Trotwood was blitzing on that. They brought inside linebackers right up the middle, and he just ran into Arturo and shut that play down right at the line of scrimmage. He did everything he could, but when you have a blitz, unless you pick it up by a blocker, your backs are in trouble.
Wide out to the top side, end to the near side. Austin Davis going to pass, looking to the end zone. Does he have a receiver? Almost got it to Owen Toops, but a good defensive job in there by one of the Rams who knocked it to the ground. Pretty good coverage, Bob. Owen Toops wasn't quite able to pull it down.
It went up for it and almost had to fight the defender for it. Well thrown, because Davis was getting pressure, and he just couldn't sit back there and wait and wait. He had to throw the football, and as a result, it was well thrown, but Toops couldn't come down with it.
3rd down and 9. Indians break the huddle.
Piqua's going to spread out the Trotwood defense here. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
Davis, this time on a handoff around the far side, and that's going to be given to Evan Smith. Evan Smith goes down to the 15-yard line and going to be short of the first down by about maybe 4 yards. Let's see where they spot the football. Not quite as bad as we thought. Let's call it a long 3. So it's going to be 4th down. Now let's see what Bill Neese decides to do.
I don't think they're going to kick it. I think they're going for it. 4 minutes left in the first half, and the Indians are right at the Trotwood 13-yard line.
4th down. Austin Davis hands it off to Smeezing. Smeezing going to get inside the 10-yard line. Looks like he might have enough for the first down, Bob.
He did. Mr. Power, boy, I'll tell you, a guy with good speed, but he's got power. Of course, he weighs 222 pounds, so he's not your typical high school running back. He's got a lot of strength.
Going to be a 1st and goal, the ball resting on the 9-yard line. So the Indians are threatening here. They trail 14-7 with 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the half. Davis, pitch out to Evan Brown. Evan Brown going around the left side, inside the 5-yard line, all the way down to about maybe the 2. Nice work there by number 35. That's Evan Smith.
I'll tell you one thing. He got that yardage on his own.
Yeah.
He was hit, bounced off, and it looked like he put his hand down to get some balance and continued ahead. Great job by running the football by Devin Brown.
Second down and goal to go from the 2-yard line.
Camera 1, camera 2, center it. Yeah, bud. Yep, you're good, camera 2.
Hand off to Smeezing. Ben trying to go right up the middle, but is stopped. So I'm not so sure Ben got much on that one, Bob. Looks like it's going to be 3rd down. Might have even lost the yard.
Yeah, that middle was jammed. And of course, if you're a Trotwood defender, who do you think is going to get the football in that situation?
I'd say number 23.
Yeah, and again, even though they know he's coming, Ben still is cutting his yardage tonight, but that time they just stuffed the middle and there was no room to run for Ben Smeezing.
Lost of 2 yards. It's 3rd down and 4 with goal to go. Now for a little delay. One of the officials is coming over to talk to
I think Bill wants to take a
Bill
timeout.
Neese. I think
He's
Bill
letting the
Neese
clock.
says we need timeout. A reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. Your home for Piqua Athletics. It's all on Channel 5.
14-7, Trotwood here with 1:56 left in the first half. The Indians with a 3rd and 4. So again, when you think about the play calling, they have 2 chances to pick up the 4 yards. So you don't have to panic and feel like you have to get it all in the first down or the 3rd down, but you like to. Takes a lot of pressure off your offense.
And it is a big TD if you can put it in the end zone.
Oh,
Bob.
yeah. And another good thing is with the less than 2 minutes left, Trotwood's not going to have the ball with much time left in the first half for them to try to break a big play.
Let's see what most coaches decide to do. Jeff Graham's the Trotwood coach. Trotwood defenders trot on the field. Now here come the offensive unit by Bill Neese coming onto the field. It's 3rd down and goal to go. Ball resting on the Trotwood 4-yard line. Let's see what's in the offensive bag of tricks of Bill Neese.
Well, they're going to have two receivers, one split left, one split right. Everybody else is tight end in there. Appears maybe they're going to run the football.
Handoff goes to Evan Smith. Evan Smith. Woo, Bob.
I'll tell you,
what a second effort by Evan Smith.
That's a workhorse.
Into the end zone.
That's a workhorse because he got those last 2 yards on his own. He should have charged those guys for travel because they were holding on to his back, and he just pulled them into the end zone.
And he's 151 pounds, Bob, so
he must
is
have
the
those
biggest
strong
guy on the field.
He must have those strong legs.
6 on the board. Chance now for Comstock to tie this one up at 14. Kick is up. It's good. We're tied at 14 with 1:48 left to go in the first half. Bob, this has been a very, very interesting first half. Anybody that thought that the Indians couldn't compete with the Rams, very, very sadly mistaken, at least to this point.
Well, two very good football teams. And really a lot of talent out on the field, both well coached, a lot of athletes, both do a lot of things well, and it's an even game right now. So that tells you about the evenly matched teams performing here tonight.
So the Indians tie it up with the extra point. Now Robbie Comstock's going to kick it back to the Rams. And again, like I said, Bob, with only 1:48 left to go in the half, you'd like to think, barring a big play, which of course you can't take that away from the Rams, the Indians could take a 14-14 tie to the locker room.
I'd like to see a bouncing line drive type kick. I don't want to see the kickoff go into the hands of Ravelon Hargrove, and he can clear that 70 yards in less than 10 seconds, I'm sure. And the Indians don't want to give, that'd be a demoralizer. So you want to get that kick down there, get good coverage. Don't give him a chance to run it back upfield.
Think we might see a squib kick here, Bob?
I would.
Just to keep it out of his hands?
I would think so. I would think you'd see a line drive, bounce type kick, or anything low to the ground so he won't field it in the air.
Robbie Comstock, exactly what it is. But unfortunately, Hargrove picks it up. Hargrove gets away from a couple tacklers and gets all the way up to the 41-yard line. So wasn't a bad return, but still a long way to go for the Rams. But they're going to have the ball with 1:41 left to go in the first half. We're tied at 14.
Again, the importance of eliminating the big play comes into play right now for the Indians. You have to be concerned about any deep passes, and I think defensive backs have to give a little more cushion here, but you still have to respect the running game of Trotwood, Hargrove, and Markel Stevens Peppers, the quarterback.
Let's see what the Rams decide to do. Peppers back to pass, getting pressure, hitting for the far side. Finds a receiver, and the receiver picks it off at about the 41-yard line. The receiver was Dallas Daniels.
Nice job by Peppers. He had to scramble coming off to his left and found Daniels right along the sideline for the completion.
Only for about 3 yards, second down and 7. Peppers back to pass again. Got over the middle. He's got William McDaniel. William McDaniel this time goes out of bounds, but not before he picks up enough for a first down for the Rams.
The Indians have to keep those receivers in bounds to keep that clock running, because I think Trotwood has one timeout left, and that's all they have. So the Indians have to keep the play in bounds.
There's a pass again. Completed to Tedry and Satterwhite. He bobbled it, but I think he pulled it in. They're going to count it a completed pass, and that's going to be good for another first down. So they didn't have much time, but wait a minute. We have one of the officials conferring with the referee, and I think what they're doing is adjusting the time on the clock.
Back to from 111 to 120.
So 120 left to go in the half, but the Rams are threatening here at Alexander Stadium. We're tied at 14.
Not taking him long to get down the field. Again, big play team.
Stevens Peppers back to pass over the middle. He's got his favorite receiver is Tedrian Satterwhite. Satterwhite goes to the far side. Does he have enough for a first down? It's awfully close. I believe they're going to move the stakes, so a first down for the Rams inside the 20-yard line. They're not taking any time. They're back to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback's going to go to the end zone, trying to find a receiver.
He found him.
He found him. I think it was Satterwhite again. Satterwhite, I think, is going to be credited with that. Nope, number two. Number two, that was Dallas Daniels who picked that one off in the end zone. Bob, that one hurt.
I'll tell you, what a dynamic passing offense that Trotwood has displayed here in the last minute and a half. They just moved the ball down the field without any interference at all by the Indian defense. Now there's an unsportsmanlike penalty, I think, just called against Trotwood.
Penalty's going to be against Trotwood. It's not going to nullify the touchdown, is it?
No, I think it was post touchdown.
Yes.
It'll just make the extra point run from the. They're taking it out to the. Looks like
17-yard line.
17 or 18-yard line.
So now that does make for an interesting situation because they've been trying for two, and this time instead of they're trying it for the 3-yard line, they're at the 17. Could be a pretty significant play right here, Bob.
So
Let's
you know
see what they decide to do.
You have to look for them. You would guess they would want to throw the football in this situation. 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right.
Stevens Peppers.
Actually, 3 out to the right.
Looking downfield, going to blow in the end zone. Let's see if he got anybody, and he did. He found Hargrove.
Yep, lined up in the slot.
Hargrove catches the 2-point conversion, and that ended up being a very, very big play, and that changes the score now. It is now 22 to 14. Boy, we thought that a minute 48 was enough time to take off the clock and head for the dressing room at 14-14. Didn't end up that way, Robert.
No, not with Trotwood. Again, we talk about their big play capabilities, and they certainly displayed that with this last drive. It was about a 6-play drive down the field, and it came with ease. It seemed to come very easily to that Trotwood offense led by Peppers, the quarterback. And he is to me, he's the key to this football team. You like Hargrove as a running back, but Peppers makes things happen. Running the football, throwing the football. He's a good quarterback.
Yes, he's a very talented young man. Well, Kennedy Coates is going to kick it off for the Rams, and deep for Piqua is Ben Smeezing. He's standing at about his 18-yard line, so Coates is probably expected to kick it low like he has the last couple of times. Let's see what happens. Kennedy Coates. Whistle from the referee, and we're ready to go. Oh, he kicks it on the far side. Oh, it's kind of a onside kick, I think you'd call it. Although it didn't go very far, but for Piqua, it was picked off by number 65. That's Zane Arbogast. So now let's see what happens, Bob. I'm not so sure that was an intended kick because that gives Piqua pretty good field position and a little time. Maybe they can put something on the scoreboard and go back to the locker room with a tie ball game.
Yeah, they have.
And there's going to be there's a penalty, and that's going to be against Trotwood Madison. That's going to take the ball into Trotwood Madison territory, so the Indians are going to have it 1st and 10 on the Trotwood Madison 44-yard line.
Did that go this necessary 10 yards? I don't know. I don't know what. I didn't see a signal on the call.
I did not either. 48 seconds left to go in the half. Whistle and a timeout on the on the part of the Trotwood Madison Rams. Well, Bob, I think with 48 seconds left to go, plenty of time to throw the ball, but also you do have Ben Smeezing. It'd be nice if we could get somebody like Ben loose and scamper in the end zone. 48 seconds is a long time in a ball game, and let's see what Bill Neese decides to do.
Well, good field position for the Indians on the Trotwood 44-yard line, so it's a good starting point. And with 2 timeouts remaining in the half, you know, using them wisely, they can stop the clock. So the Indians have an opportunity here.
You're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics. Let's see what Bill Neese decides to do. Ball resting on the Trotwood Madison 44-yard line. Davis back to pass. He's going to go deep, trying to find Hayden. He didn't get it. Intended for Hayden Shrub, but Hayden couldn't come down with that one. Had some pretty decent coverage. He had a couple white jerseys around him, Bob.
He had double coverage on that. I think Trotwood realizes he's their go-to guy for Piqua. So in this situation, they're going to give him that double coverage, which means somebody else may be free coming across the middle for the Indians.
Let's see what happens on second down. Second down and 10. Clock stopped with the incompleted pass. 3 wide outs to the near side, 1 to the far side. Davis, screen pass, gives it to Smeezing. Smeezing's got it. Smeezing's going to take it inside the 40-yard line, short of the first down.
And there's a flag on the play, so I don't know whether they caught a hold or what it was, but there was a flag thrown.
Came from the official on the far side. Going to be a penalty against the Indians. I believe he called it holding, if I'm not mistaken, Bob.
That was a signal, yes, and it's
so
going to show the
take
Indians.
the ball back 10 yards. Going to take it back into Piqua territory. So now time is of the essence for the Indians. We've got 34 seconds left to go in the first half. Piqua trailing 22 to 14. Now we're going to need something a little special, Bob.
May have to go deep on this one.
Two wide outs here to the near side, 1 to the top side.
Mike back on the ball. Number 1.
Davis this time hands it off to Ben Smeezing. Ben Smeezing tried the middle of that Trotwood line, but didn't have much luck.
Looks like the Indians aren't going to try to stop the clock. They have 2 timeouts. They're going to call it here at halftime.
So that's going to be the end of the first half. At the end of the first half, the score, Trotwood Madison 22, Piqua 14. Again, we're going to be taking a break here at halftime at Alexander Stadium so you can enjoy the band performances. Tell us when you want to start that, AJ. ready to go?
Go ahead.
Should I just start?
Go ahead.
I lost some of my.
Oh, Tom. Nope, you're good. You're good right there. Right there. Bring us back in.
Okay, hold on a minute. Ready? Welcome back to Perk Field at Alexander Stadium. We are live on the Indian Nation station with Piqua Indian High School football. Halftime guest AJ Gangton. I can't even say it.
Ganger.
I knew it. AJ, first of all, you're in charge of the CATV operation now at Piqua High School. Tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh,
we don't know where you came from.
All right. I'm originally from Troy. I've been living in Troy for many, many years. I graduated from Miami East High School in 2011. Then from there, I furthered my education and went to Wilmington College, graduated there with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication Arts from Wilmington. From there, you know, I've been working around, haven't found any jobs really in my field of study where my degree's at, and finally this opportunity here at Piqua came up, and it's something I've always dreamed of, always wanted to do, working in television. And I'm happy and glad and grateful for Piqua City Schools to give me this opportunity to run the TV station.
Well, some of our people aren't aware that the operation is now at Piqua High School, was at Edison State for quite some time, and what they've done is they've converted the old woodworking shop to a studio, and AJ, they've done a beautiful job of providing you with what I would call a state-of-the-art facility. You've indicated that you've got a lot of good state-of-the-art equipment. Maybe need a few things here and there, but for just being a new operation, I'm impressed with what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better facility to work in here. They did a really good job over the summertime renovating the room. We've got carpet down. We had a drop ceiling put in. We had the green screen room all redone, so the green screen room is awesome. It literally looks like a green studio, like you would walk into a TV studio and see. And the kids, I mean, the kids here are so talented. The media kids, you know, we got them running camera up here tonight. They're just so talented when it comes to their video editing skills and stuff. And, you know, I'm just very, like I said, very, very grateful. I couldn't have asked for a better situation to be in.
And you've got a media teacher, Damian Skeens. We've met Damian. You found somebody who has the same enthusiasm that you've got for the job to be done. He was down there for our pregame show. I like his enthusiasm and obviously his knowledge and expertise. You two make a heck of a combination.
Oh yeah, I mean, Damian's really, really talented, man. He's helped me, you know, all throughout the transition into becoming the new television manager here. And, you know, I just really, really appreciate, you know, everything that he's done for me, helping me transition, let me basically do what I need to do. But then, you know, he's there for guidance. He's a very helpful hand. And he'll tell you when something needs fixed or when something doesn't look right. And, you know, he'll help you out throughout the way getting that fixed and taken care of.
And has a beautiful way with the students.
Yes, he does. I mean, his kids are very well trained. They know exactly what they're doing when it's due. They follow deadlines, and in media, that's always the key, is following deadlines. And I tell you what, these kids know exactly what a deadline is.
You talked about the green room, but I'm not so sure that those people who are going to watch us on Monday nights after our home know what the green room is. I found it fascinating. I'm going to try to explain it, then I want you to clarify it. The green room is exactly that. It's a smaller room. It is green, but it offers something that I find to be fascinating, because we had the pregame show outside tonight, but had the weather been bad, we would have had our pregame show in the green room. But what would we have been able to do to make it look a little bit more athletic?
Oh, we would have been able to put any kind of background you want, especially Alexander Stadium. I mean, this is one of the premier stadiums here in the state of Ohio. It beats, you know, some smaller colleges' stadiums. I mean, you know, we could do anything we want with the green room. Again, it's a full room painted in green, from the walls to the floor. The ceiling's painted black to help with the lighting. We're able to chroma key stuff, which means we're able to put images on the green screen behind you while you're standing in there. And, you know, some of the things we can do is pretty crazy, but we can make studios, we can do, put pictures behind everybody. Some of the videos that people are seeing on the video board tonight have been done in a green screen. So.
And again, I find it fascinating because if we had to do one in the green room and we showed it on a Monday night, the people would have guessed we did it on the 50-yard line. But again, I'm very, very impressed. Tell me a little bit about some of the things you're going to do as being in charge of the CATV. I'm very, very pleased that it's now an official project of the Piqua City Schools. What are some things that you're going to be doing, perhaps besides the athletic thing?
Obviously, I want to do Piqua athletics, whether it's fall, winter sports, wrestling, things of that nature. But I also want to cover more community events. This is a station that's located at Piqua City Schools, but at the same time, you have to realize that, this is not just a Piqua City School station. It's not. It's a Piqua community station, and that's really huge. And getting out there and being able to follow events and, getting support from the community is a big thing. And that's what I really want to do, cover the parades. And I know me and you did one on Memorial Day with Melinda Silman. And, just showcasing Piqua for what it is. And it's a very beautiful, beautiful town.
Well, again, let's remind the people what they need to do to be in contact with you, because you're in the Piqua High School. But if people have questions, they need to know how to get a hold of you. And again, I think what people don't know is if they can reach you, they might be able to promote their favorite charity fundraiser, whatever it might be. But they're going to have to assume a little responsibility by making sure you know about those things. At the best way of getting in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is by email. My email address is gangera@piqua.org, or you can just simply pick up the phone and give me a call. My cell phone number is 937-308-5322. I'm normally in my office from 7 o'clock in the morning until whenever I can get out. So you can always stop by the high school too, room 503, and I've got my own office in there, and we can sit down and chat and figure out anything you need to do.
I would imagine that you'd be anxious to hear from some people.
Yeah.
In fact, you told me that when we did the football game, not to hesitate to promote any community activities, not just the school activities. And I think I'm passing that along, so when people see the replay of this game, they'll know that it doesn't have to be a school activity. It can be a community activity. We're a community operation.
Yes, that is 100%, man. And I want to you and Bob have probably been talking about where you can find the game, and I just want to bring that up too one more time. You can find the game on Monday nights at 5:30 p.m. on Piqua's Channel 5. The game will have the coaches show at 4:30 p.m. followed by the pregame show we shot beforehand at 5. The game precedes the pregame show at 5:30. Also, you can find the game on a website called campusnation.com. You can view it anytime you want. All you do is go to your mobile device, your computer. If you have a Roku stick at home, you can download the Roku app of Campus Nation. You click on the Campus Nation website, you scroll down to the Piqua tab on the right side of your screen, and you're able to find all the Piqua games located there. Those will be available again probably on Monday evening as well.
I think I'm going to ask you to do one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you to go through that again very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that I'm aware of, and I'm a low-tech guy, probably didn't catch that last option, but instead of telling us how to do it, would you be willing to take a phone call from anybody that says, hey, I heard it, I didn't understand it because you went through it pretty quickly. If they would call you, you could probably walk them through it, couldn't you?
Exactly, yeah. I could definitely help anybody through how to get the Campus Nation. That's where I started out doing broadcasting and things like that in college as an internship. It's a very easy site to manage and to go through, so I'm very helpful to anyone who needs help finding a way around the website. And, again, do not be afraid to contact me. I'm a really nice, easygoing guy. At least I like to think I am. And I really want to hear from the community. I want feedback from every single person. And I think that's just key, because I need to know what I'm doing wrong, and I also need to know what I'm doing right. And I think one of the things I'm doing right is getting Bachman and Luby back for high school football on Fridays.
Well, I'd like to think that that was a good move on your part, but like I told you before, when you're dealing with Bachman and Luby in football and broadcasting, you're just going back to guys who are 15 years old. But
you're the 15-year-old, though. Luby's a little more mature. I'm kidding.
I understand. Well, I'll tell you right now, this is a great concept. I hope we have some viewers on Monday night, because after every home game, we'll be there on Monday night. But even more important, I think it's important that people know where you are, what you can do, and how much you want to make this community a better place. And I'm hoping that since Monday night will be our first rebroadcast, that people will be listening and say, wait a minute, I watched the rebroadcast on Monday. I'm going to jot down the phone number, and I'm going to call AJ because I need some help. I got some suggestions. I've got an activity or two that maybe we can promote, and I know that you're willing to do it. And I think Pick was very, very pleased to have somebody like AJ Ganger in charge of the CATV. Again, it's the Nation Station.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. I'm going to give it back to Bob. You guys got a second half coming up. But tell you what, Pick was playing good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thanks to AJ for joining us. And again, welcome back to Alexander Stadium, where the halftime scored 22-14. And let's see if Bob can sit down. And Bob, you got any stats you might be willing to share with us? We'll wait for Bob to put his headset on. And Bob, I need to get I need a little more cord. There we go. Bob, what can you tell us? It's a little dark in here, but what stats might you want to share with us?
Okay, as a reminder, the score is 22-14 in favor of Trotwood. But as we look at the stats for the first half, Trotwood first downs, Trotwood had 8, Piqua had 11. Rushing, Trotwood rushed 8 times for 43 yards. Piqua rushed 22 times for 74 yards. Passing yards, net passing yardage, Trotwood had 129 net passing yards. Piqua had 66. Trotwood was 9 for 14, no interceptions for their 129 yards. Piqua was also 9 for 14, no interceptions for their 66 yards. Total offensive plays, Trotwood had 22 plays for a total of 172 yards. Piqua had 36 plays for 140 yards. Punt returns, Trotwood returned 1 punt for 36 yards. Piqua didn't return a punt because Trotwood didn't punt. Kickoff returns, 3 for Trotwood for 65, 3 for Piqua for 33. Fumbles, Piqua fumbled once and lost it. Penalties, Trotwood penalized 5 times for 64 yards. Piqua 1 time for 10 yards. Time of possession, this is interesting. Trotwood had the ball for 7 minutes, 43 seconds. Piqua had it for 14 minutes and 4 seconds.
Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah. Big difference, almost twice as much, but Trotwood still ahead. The big play, I mean, they scored quickly. Individual leaders rushing, Ravion Hargrove rushed 6 times for 26 yards, 1 touchdown. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. Markel Stevens Peppers rushed twice for 17 yards. He averaged 8.5 yards per carry. For Piqua, Ben Smeezing, 12 rushing attempts, 53 yards, averaged 4.4 yards per carry. Devon Brown 5 times, 19 yards. He averaged 3.8 yards per carry. And Arturo Mendoza rushed twice for 2 yards, averaged 1 yard per carry. Passing, Markel Stevens Peppers was 8 for 13, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Davis was 9 for 14, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Pass receiving, Trotwood, William McDaniel, 5 catches, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Dallas Daniels, 3 receptions, 26 yards, 1 touchdown. And Ravion Hargrove, 1 reception, 8 yards, no touchdowns. For Piqua, Hayden Shrub, 4 receptions, 37 yards. Cale Mextroff, 3 receptions, 12 yards. Derek Height, 1 reception, 11 yards. And Colin Rowe, 1 reception, 6 yards. Punting, Micah Karn punted once for 33 yards and Jalen Watson twice for 69 yards. So that pretty much sums up, I think, probably the biggest surprise as you look at the statistics get your attention is the time of possession. Piqua had the ball for 14 minutes and 4 seconds. Trotwood had it for 7 minutes and 43 seconds.
The big play doesn't take much time. I guess that's one of the lessons, Bob. Well,
it.
Bob, I always ask you this question. What do you think Bill Neese said to the Indians at halftime?
Well, he said, we're playing good football. We're in this game. We're going to get the ball when we come out in the second half, and it's going to be up to us to generate some offense and get that ball down the field. You know, you guys have proven you can move the ball against Trotwood. There's no question about it. We've run the ball against them. We've passed it. We can be successful moving the ball. You have to believe, and let's get started. So, you know, I think the players believe that they're in this thing because they look at the scoreboard and they're going to get the football, and I think that they can get back in this ball game pretty quickly.
Well, let's see what happens as the Rams get ready to kick it off to the Indians. Again, Ben Smeezing standing at his own 17-yard line, and it looks to me like the Indians feel a little more confident. There were some who thought maybe the Rams were going to be a little too good for them, but that certainly has not been the case.
No, the Indians have played right with them. And again, you know, it goes back to one of the goals before the game we talked about. The Indians have to eliminate the big play, and they have to get the football and eat up the clock, which they have according to the stats. They had the ball twice as much as Trotwood, but didn't stop Trotwood when they did have the ball.
And only one turnover in the half, and unfortunately, that was a fumble by the Indians.
Yep.
Let's see what happens as Kennedy Coates gets ready to kick it for the Rams. His kicks have not been of the NFL variety. This is no different. Line drive going to be picked up by, I think that's Hayden Shrub, if I'm not mistaken. It happened so quickly. Yeah, Hayden Shrub picks up the kick, gets it to about the 30-yard line. Let's see where they spot the ball. So let's see what happens as the Indians take the ball, 1st and 10. They trail 22-14 as we begin the third quarter here at Alexander Stadium. Austin Davis waiting for the snap. He's going to pass to the sideline. Hayden Shrub. Hayden Shrub gets it at about the 36-yard line. Looks like a gain of about 5, maybe 6. Let's see where they spot the football.
Again, they're giving Hayden Shrub that cushion. He's got the opportunity to run down and do a quick in, look back to the quarterback 6-7 yards downfield. That's been very successful for the Indians.
Our receivers have had some space, haven't they, Bob?
Sure have.
Let's see what happens. We have an official's timeout. I think one of the Rams is being attended to. Looks like an injury situation. They're working on. Now he was getting off the field on his own volition, but now
that's Kennedy Coates, number 4,
the kicker, and getting some attention for the training staff for Trotwood Madison. Bob, as you look at this second half, any particular strategies that look like they could be successful against this Trotwood Madison? I think the passing game has been pretty strong. The numbers on Austin Davis the first half, pretty impressive. It appears to me that more of the same.
Well, I think as long as they give the receivers, and especially Shrub, the kind of cushion they're giving him, I think you have to take advantage of that. I think with the way they're playing him, they're more or less saying, Hayden, we're going to give you that short pass, and then you work on that. Then what you do, you try to set it up. You give him the stop and go. Let them think you're going to throw the short pass, and Hayden Shrub stops and then goes past the defender. There's some maneuvers you can work off of that, but again, I would take advantage of that.
Bob, we've got a minute while they're working on Kennedy Coates. Next Friday night, Franklin's going to come to Alexander Stadium, and You talk about a team that's pretty formidable. Franklin's going to be a team that is going to bring some offensive and defensive strength to the stadium next Friday night, and we'll be here for that.
Everything I've heard, a very good football team. Of course, they were good last year. They put the hammer on Piqua last year, so they're a very talented group. Piqua will have their hands full 2 weeks in a row. You can't say the Indians are playing a soft schedule. They certainly have been very competitive in their scheduling.
Let's see what happens as Kennedy Coates goes to the sideline. The Indians come up to the line of scrimmage. Second down, let's call it second down and 3. Handoff goes to, handoff goes, is that Ben Smeezing?
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Oh.
That was, I believe that was
Mendoza.
Mendoza tried the left side. Got a yard back, but still going to be third down and 2.
Yeah, good job by the Trotwood defense. They came up and filled that hole. Nice form tackle. Head in there, wrapped the arms, took Mendoza down.
Third down. Let's call it third down and a long 1, short 2. Handoff this time, to Ben Smeezing, but Ben is not going to gain an inch. In fact, he's probably going to lose a yard.
Indians are going to have to punt on this first series, and that's not what they wanted to see. They wanted to maintain control of the football. Now they're going to have to turn around and give it back to Trotwood, which can be a very dangerous thing here with the explosive offense they have.
Mick Carn's going to punt it away for Piqua. Devin Peppers and George Anderson deep for the Rams. Mick Carn's kick. Fair catch called for by Peppers. He's going to go to the ground at about the 36-yard line of the Rams, first and 10. I guess, Bob, now what we have to say is now we got to take it away from them and keep them from scoring again. You don't want to be 2 touchdowns behind with a team like this.
No, you got to shut down. And Trotwood hadn't turned the ball over, which has been to the detriment of the Indians. The Indians have to try to force a turnover or try to shut down and force a 3 and out here.
Rams up to the line of scrimmage. Hand off to Hargrove, right up the middle. Hargrove gets to about the, let's call it the 40-yard line. Might be a bit short. Nice defensive work there by Ben Smeezing and Derek Height.
Say, Hargrove runs hard, too, for a speedster. He's got strong legs, built closer to the ground, maybe low center of gravity. He's hard to bring down. He comes off. He'll, roll off a tackle and pick up an extra yard or 2. So he's a mainstay, one of the mainstays of their offense.
Let's give him 2. Let's call it second down and 8. Stephen Peppers over to the far side, gets it over to Dallas Daniels. Dallas Daniels going to have enough for a first down for the Rams, pretty close, if not on the midfield stripe.
There was a missed tackle out there by the Indians. I think it was number 11 for the Indians had a shot at him.
I think Mick Carn had a shot at him and couldn't quite bring him down.
Yeah, had him actually maybe for no gain. But with these guys, you can't afford to miss tackles because they're going to make plays, and you have to stay with them.
First and 10 for the Rams. That ball is resting right on the 50-yard line. Hand off to Hargrove again over on the left side. He's got some running room. He gets down to about the 30-yard line before Hayden Shrub knocks him out of bounds. Going to be first down for the Rams at the Piqua 30-yard line. Boy, he's got blazing speed, Bob.
He does, and you can't allow him to get out on the edge and turn the corner because once he does, he's very difficult to catch and bring down. So you have to stop him close to the line of scrimmage.
First and 10 for the Rams. Stevens back to pass, going to pass downfield. Going to be a penalty, I think, against the Indians. I believe that one of the Indians bumped the receiver, and that's exactly what the call is going to be. It's going to be pass interference against Piqua. And Bob, I tend to think that I couldn't argue with that call.
No, first of all, the defender had his back to the quarterback, and when you do that and bump somebody, that's almost an automatic. They're going to throw the flag, and that's what happened. I think that was.
So after
Jacob
the penalty, they're going to put the ball on the 15-yard line. First and 10 for the Rams. Be nice if the Indians could get the ball back without anybody denting the end zone, Bob. In fact, that's pretty crucial at this point. Stevens Peppers hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove around the left side, gets to about the 10-yard line. Let's see where they're going to spot it. They're going to spot it at the 10-yard line. Yes, second down. Let's call it second down and 5. He got half of them. Boy, he gets around the corner, you know he's going to get 5 or 10, Bob.
Plus, he's got the ability. He's agile. He can stop, start, give that limp leg to the tackler, then turn on the gas again. He's very, very deceptive.
Stevens Peppers. Going to go back to pass, getting some pressure. Now he's going to run. Going to throw it into the end zone. Incomplete, I believe. Yes, incomplete pass. Had a receiver in the end zone. Receiver, I think, touched the ball, but I think it was knocked out of bounds by Hayden Shrub.
Yeah, they were lucky on that one because he had the football in his hands. Probably should have caught it, and little contact caused him to drop it, but he was open. He was open there. So now Trotwood's going to be 3rd and 5 on the Indian 10. So the Indians really need to step up. They need a big play here. Quarterback sack, a knockdown pass, or an interception.
Hand off to Hargrove. Hargrove right up the middle. Hargrove's going to get down to the 5-yard line, and that's going to be very, very close to another first down. Let's see where they spot the ball, and if they tell us it's a first down, it's 1st and goal.
I think he's short.
Okay, it's going to be 4th and 1, a long one. So talk about a big play, Bob. This is it right here.
Yep.
Let's call it 4th and 1.5.
I'll tell you, Hargrove seems to get that yardage whenever they need it. They give it to him inside tackle to tackle, and if it's jammed, he'll kick it outside.
Stevens Peppers waiting for the snap. I think he changed the play. Here it comes. Here comes Hargrove. Hargrove is going to have enough for a first down, I believe. Let's wait until we get the 1st and goal to go for the Rams inside the 5-yard line of the Indians.
7:22 left in the 3rd quarter. The Indians trailing Trotwood 22-14, and Trotwood's in a position now to punch another score in the end zone. 1st and goal at the 3.
Goal to go for the Rams. Stevens Peppers taking his time over center. Hargrove again. Hargrove's going to go around the right side, the left side, and is going to go into the end zone for the score.
But I think I saw a flag down there. I bet we have a hold. They threw it right at the line of scrimmage, so I'm guessing that's a hold.
Holding call going to go against Trotwood. You're right, Bob. So the Indians dodged the bullet, at least temporarily. Holding call against the Rams.
Yeah, that's
going to make it goal to go from the. They're going to put it at the 14-yard line. So now the time for the defense to step up, Bob.
You go back to first down, so they got 4 shots to get it 14 yards, and again, with the way Hargrove's been running, you have to look for him to get the ball a couple times down here.
Here comes Hargrove right up the middle. Hargrove is going to go all the way in for the score. Right up the middle and goes in for the score for the Rams. A big, big touchdown for Trotwood Madison. A tough one for the Indians, Bob.
No, that wasn't real fancy. That was just a blast straight up inside. The Indians just couldn't get a hand on him. Looked like they had somebody blitzing, but the blitzer couldn't get there at the right position, and Hargrove just took it in the end zone.
Going for the two-point conversion.
Coming in on camera 1, 2-point conversion.
Again, Stephen Peppers over center. Here comes Hargrove. I think Hargrove, I don't think he got in. Let's see if for a sign. Let's wait for a signal.
He's short.
He's short. So with 6:46 left to go in the third quarter, 28-14, the Indians trail, and they're going to have the football, Bob. I hate to say it, but the Indians have no choice. They got to put something on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you can't allow yourself to get down by more than 2 scores at this point. Trotwood's good offensively, but they're not bad defensively either. And they're playing very, very strong in the middle. The Indians have struggled thus far in the third quarter running the football. Actually haven't had it much, so they're going to have to generate something here to pick up a score.
Kennedy Coates got hurt the last time the Rams kicked it off. I think we've got Teron Britt going to kick it off for the Rams. Let's see if Teron has any more luck than the previous kicker. Everything was a squib kick. Let's see if that's what Jeff Graham, the Trotwood coach, decides to do. Waiting for the whistle from the referee. Ben Smeezing standing on his own 17-yard line. Ben's going to pick it off on the 12-yard line.
Trotwood was offside. They were offside on the kickoff. I saw a guy get ahead of the kicker there.
5-yard penalty going to go against the Rams offside. Don't see too many of those, Bob.
No, that's just discipline. You know, you look down and you watch the kicker, and as soon as he hits the ball, you take off.
Well, Britt's going to kick it again. This time he's going to kick it from the 35-yard line. Piqua trails 28-14 here in the third quarter. You're joining the Indian Nation station. Let's see what happens as Britt kicks it away.
Oh, crap. Big screen now.
Ben Smeezing at the 20-yard line. Gets a little running room. Gets to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Indians on their own 34. Indians need to put something on the scoreboard, Robert.
Yep, it's critical right now, and you shouldn't say, well, this is it, but the way Trotwoods have been moving the football and scoring, the Indians cannot afford to get down by more than another, score. They're down 2 scores right now. It's good that Trotwood missed the extra points, so it's a 2-touchdown game. But the Indians need to take advantage right now with 6:40 left in the third quarter.
All right, we're going to go camera 1, take 1.
Austin Davis back to pass, looking over the middle. He's got a receiver. He's got a receiver that's going to get some extra yardage, and that is going to be Mextroth. Mextroth goes all the way down to about the 28-yard line. Nice work by number 5, and that is Cale Mextroth. Big, big hitter. Bob, that might be the kind of play Piqua needed.
Oh, no question about it. It was a nice pitch, nice catch. Mextroth right down the middle. It was open, and he just was caught from behind, with the athleticism of the Trotwood defenders. But good field position now inside Trotwood territory at the 29.
Good job, camera 2. Still down a little bit right there. Stay right there.
Davis back to pass again. He's got had Mexroth. Nope, excuse me. Threw it over on the far side. Threw it to one of his other receivers. Threw it over to Owen Toops, but Owen Toops put it in his belly, so it falls incomplete. Second down and 10.
Seems like Trotwood changes up their pass defense coverage. They'll either give some cushion sometimes, or they'll get right up on the receiver and play him tight. So right now they're playing that tighter coverage on this side.
Sorry, guys. Camera 1, you're on board.
Austin Davis. Oh, Austin Davis is caught by number, it looked like,
That was 23.
I think it was, Bob. Let's see if we got his name, and we do not.
Josh Jordan.
Okay, so Jordan gets credit for that sack, and now the Indians find themselves with third down, probably about, let's call it third down and 20.
Yeah, Josh Jordan blitzed. He was a linebacker. He came right up the middle, and as a result, Davis did not have time to even consider throwing the football.
Davis waiting for the snap. Back to pass. Gonna go deep. Got Shrub! Got Shrub inside the 5-yard line.
Touchdown.
Well, they're signaling, Bob. I think they're signaling that
down
he's on the 1-yard line. Hayden Shrub, beautiful catch, beautiful pass by Austin Davis, and the Indians are knocking at the door. They're on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, it was well thrown, and Shrub had to go up and really had some defenders near him, but did a good job of catching the football and got tripped up, and he bounced in the end zone. I think that's why it appeared initially it was a touchdown.
Great play by Hayden Shrub. Awfully good pass by Austin Davis. Goal to go. It's on the 1-yard line. Ben Smeezing. Ben Smeezing is in for the score. So the Indians put 6 on the board. Now they're going to put Comstock out to see if they can't make it a 7-point ball game. That was huge, Bob. That was huge.
Nice, well-executed pass play. Davis right on target to Shrub, and again, Shrub has the good hands, has the ability to go up and get the football and make the good catches.
Comstock
Camera 2, zoom out.
for the extra point.
Out, right there. Camera 2, take 2. Right, stay there, camera 2.
Kick is up. The kick is good. So the Indians answer with 7 points of their own, 28-21. 4:53 left to go in the third quarter. Bob, suddenly it's a ball game.
Yeah, we're back in it. The Indians certainly needed that score, and they did a good job of executing. Pass game was right on target. Quarterback Austin Davis came through in the clutch, and defense now is going to have to take over and get a stop or cause a turnover. This is what you need. It was a good lift now, emotional lift for the Indians.
Just a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. You're home for Piqua Athletics. Big touchdown for the Indians.
But remember, you got a kickoff receiving team over here can make a big play quickly. So you have to get good coverage coming downfield. Men have to stay in their lanes and get to the ball carrier.
Comstock's going to kick it away for Piqua.
Camera 2, please zoom in. Keep going, keep going.
Let's see whether or not the Indians try to kick it away from Hargrove, who's down at about his 15-yard line. The kick. Squib kick right up the middle, over on the far side, and Dallas Daniels brings it back to about the 45-yard line. Let's call it 1st and 10 for the Rams on their own 45-yard line. The Indians defense needs to step up right here, Bob.
Yep, Trotwood pretty good field position, have it at their own 45. That's a pretty good starting point, but the Indians again need to make a play. Need to make a play defensively.
Stevens Peppers over center. Hargrove again. Hargrove gets around the corner. Hargrove is around the corner, down to the 40, down to the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10, and he's going to score, I believe. Bob, Hargrove takes it 45 yards. Let's make it 55 yards for the score, and that was a killer for the Indians.
Again, this guy can scoot. He just gets out on the perimeter. He has that extra gear, and he turns it up, and nobody can catch him. The Indians don't have anybody fast enough back there to catch him. And I think probably most teams are in that same position. They just, you got to keep him inside the tackle box. Once he gets past the line of scrimmage, it's another day, I think.
Rams going for the 2 extra points. Let's see what they decide to do. I'd be willing to wager that Hargrove is going to see it. Nope, they're going to throw it in the end zone. Incomplete in the end zone, I believe.
And a flag was thrown. They're going to call interference, I think, on the Indians.
Let's wait for the call from the, yep, that's the call against the Indians. So that'll move the ball closer to the goal line, but the question is, will they still? Boy.
Oh, if they're
from
halfway
the 3-yard
there,
line to the 1.5-yard line, Bob. So I would imagine that Hargrove is licking his chops. He didn't get that last one, but I would almost be willing to wager he might see the football on this one. No, he's going to throw the ball into the end zone.
another flag.
Another flag. Let's see if this is... I don't have a very good vantage point over there, Bob. Was that...
Procedure penalty against Trotwood.
Oh, so the penalty's against the Rams. Yes, penalty against the Rams. So, again, they'll spot the ball now on the... Looks like it's on the 6 or 7-yard line. But, again... The Rams will continue to try for the 2 extra points.
I was surprised there.
One of these times we're going to give it to Hargrove, Bob.
You're on the 1.5-yard line. He's run all over the place. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 passes with Hargrove only having to get 3 yards. Doesn't seem to make much sense, does it? Here goes another pass. This time he's going to be stacked. So Stephens Peppers is sacked, so the Indians defense at least holds them to the 6 points, which tells us that with 4:34 left to go in the third quarter, 34-21, the Rams over the Indians.
That was Micah Karn making that play. He came off the edge and just grabbed Peppers with a nice tackle from behind and shut down that play.
Well, you never know, Bob, whether that 1 point might be significant here before this is over. Now the Indians have to answer. Taryn Britt's going to kick it off for the Rams. Again, a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station, your home for Piqua Athletics, Channel 5. Hayden Shrub, Evan Smith, and Ben Smeezing deep for Piqua.
23 is on the 10-yard line, correct? You can move it over.
Ritz kick. Ben Smeezing at the 15. Ben to the 30. Ben's got some running room. Ben's to the 40. He's still on his feet. He goes to near midfield before he's knocked out of bounds. Nice return by Ben Smeezing. Bob, again, pretty darn good field position for the Indians.
Yeah, Smeezing is just a ball player. I mean, if you look up the definition of football player in the dictionary, you probably see a picture of Ben in there, with the definition, because he is just a tremendous athlete. And he got the Indians back in good field position right at midfield. And it's a good place to start. You can open up your offense a little more. You're not backed into your own territory. And it's going to be up to the Indians to convert here with 2 wide receivers to each side of the field.
Ball resting right on the 50-yard line. Davis back to pass to the sideline. Hayden Shrub gets it at the 45. A completed pass. I like Hayden Shrub, Bob.
Oh, he's no slouch by any means. He does a good job, good hands, runs good routes. And, another thing they forget about wide receivers, they have to be able to block. And I've seen him block on occasion here where he's done a good job of staying with his man and taking him out of the play.
Second down. Let's call it second down and a short 4.
Camera 1, take 1.
Austin Davis back to pass. Got somebody loose. It's Derek Height. Derek Height's going to take it in a score. Derek Height. He got the first touchdown for the Indians, if I'm not mistaken. Derek Height caught the ball and went the last 20 yards untouched for the score. Piqua scores a touchdown. Oh my, Bob. This is far from being over.
Derek Height just a little brush block at the line of scrimmage and just went down the middle, and nobody picked him up. A man fell behind him, and Derek Height's about 275 pounds, but he can move. He's a pretty good athlete himself. He took it in the end zone.
Robbie Comstock. Kick is up. It is good. Good. Big score for the Indians. 3:36 left to go, third quarter. 34-28. It's a ball game, Bob Luby.
Yep, the Indians got right back in it, and they've knocked it down to a 6-point disadvantage. Trotwood missing the extra point. So Indians are, within distance here of making some things happen. Again, need a stop. I know we overuse that term, need a stop, but by golly, this is what you need to do right here. No big plays.
So the touchdown from Austin Davis to Derek Height results in a touchdown, and the Indians right back in it. But like Bob says, right now the defense has to take it away from the Rams. Let's see who's going to be deep for Trotwood Madison. Can't believe Hargrove isn't going to be in there someplace. Let's find out. Comstock will kick it for Piqua.
Camera 2, you are good. We're coming in on camera 2. Camera 2, you go hot.
Again, a reminder, you're watching high school football on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics, Channel 5.
Another reason for the Indians to kick it low here, they're kicking into the wind. That wind is blowing right towards them.
Kick is going to go all the way down to the 15-yard line. 15-yard line where it's going to go to William McDaniel. McDaniel gets some running room, a lot of running room. He's down the far sideline, and he's going to be in Piqua territory before he's knocked out of bounds. Bob, that's exactly what the Indians didn't need.
Yep. Again, special teams play, big plays. Trotwood continues to make them. That's why they're never out of a football game. You can never say, well, we're ahead far enough or whatever. Trotwood's always ready to pounce and score. And now they started to pick 45 on the kickoff return.
So let's see what the Indians defense can do. They need to take the ball away from the Rams without them denting that end zone. Hargrove, right up the gut. Hargrove is going to have more than enough for a first down, all the way down to the 31-yard line. Boy, they can't stop him, Bob.
No, he's able to break the front 7 or 8 of the Piqua Indian defense, and he's always, if he's tackled, it's in the defensive backfield.
There's official timeout. I'm not exactly sure. I think one of the Rams, it's Hargrove, going off the field limping a bit, but we're ready to go as the Rams get it 1st and 10. They've got it on the Piqua 32-yard line. Now let's see what the Rams do with Hargrove on the sidelines. Handoff goes to number 20, and that is Bob. I don't have a 20 on my roster. Number 20 took the ball and got the better part of 8 yards. You have a number 20?
No, it's a good name to have, though. It's just number 20. Don't know his first name. Jim number 20?
I don't know. Either Jim or Harry. I'm not sure what it is. Anyhow, he got 8 yards before they brought him down. 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 2.
I'll tell you, Trotwood's just been able to run the ball so
yes, they have.
successfully against the Piqua defense.
Stephen Peppers hands it off to, I believe Hargrove's back in there. Didn't waste much time getting him to the sideline. He comes back in, is going to have enough for another 1st down for the Rams.
I'll tell you, the Trotwood offensive line gets a good push. Really, as soon as the ball snapped, boy, their first step, they're knocking Piqua defenders back, and that's creating those running lanes in there for the Trotwood backs to pick their way through there, and Hargrove is pretty good at it, I would say.
We're giving a lot of credit for Hargrove. Maybe we're not giving enough credit for that offensive line.
Oh, it's important. It's critical. That's why offensive lines make backs look awfully good.
1st and 10, ball resting on the 17-yard line. This is going to be a pass, go to the end zone. It's going to go to...
He dropped it.
Incomplete pass. Daniels.
Yeah, he had
Daniels in the end zone, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it down.
I'm sure if you ask him, should you have caught that, he's going to say yes. He had a touchdown, just could not get the handle of it.
2nd down and 10. Play coming in from the sidelines. Jeff Graham's the head coach at Trotwood Madison. Rams up to the line of scrimmage. Stephen Peppers hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove now around the right side. I see a flag. Hargrove is going to go inside the 5-yard line. Let's see what the flag's all about.
I'm going to guess that's a hold out here in the perimeter because I think that enabled Hargrove to get out on the corner and turn it up.
Don't see the signal yet from the referee. The other 3 officials are conferring at the 5-yard line. Let's see what the call might be. They're going to wave the, they're going to pick up the flag. Oh. So that's going to put the ball inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Rams. The ball's on the 2-yard line.
That's an explanation I like to have sometime. If official thinks he sees a violation, they throw a flag, then they pick it up and say, no, I didn't see it. What did they see?
Well, now Bill Neese says we need a timeout, and he's going over to talk to his defensive unit. But, Bob, that, I'll tell you, I have to say, and I think you would agree, that the running game of the Rams has been everything it was supposed to be, and maybe a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, this is no surprise, you know, what they can do offensively. They're skilled. They have a lot of good skilled people. They can catch the football, they can throw it, and they can run with it. And that puts a lot of pressure on your defense. And as we look at the Indian defense, the corners for Piqua trying to cover the Trotwood wideouts, they're on an island out there. And it's one-on-one, and it's a lot of pressure on you. You have to have enough speed and agility and skill to cover the offense, who is awfully good.
So Bill Neese talking to the defensive unit got their backs to the wall. Goal to go from the 2-yard line for the Rams. Stephens Peppers taking his time. Hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove almost got away, and he got tripped up on the far side by one of the Indians. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, that was number 35. That was Evan Smith, I believe, that tripped him up on the far side. Nice play there by Piqua.
Yeah, and again, Hargrove was ready to take it out to the corner and turn it up, but good penetration by the Indians. Came off the edge and slowed him down and tripped him up and finally stopped him.
And that hasn't happened too many times tonight.
No.
Goal to go. Now the ball's resting on the 6-yard line. It's going to be a pass play. That was tipped at the line of scrimmage by one of the Indians. I think Derek Height might have tapped that one and hit it away, so that falls incomplete. It's going to be 3rd down and goal.
This would be a big, big stop if the Indians can get that here. It was Arbogast that they feel tipped it. Number 65, Zane Arbogast.
I believe you're right. It was 65, Bob.
Defensive tackle came in with his arms up, and that's what linemen are taught to do, make them throw over your arms.
3rd down and 6. Back to Hargrove. Hargrove around the right side. Can they stop him? I don't believe they did, Bob. Did he score?
Yes.
Hargrove scores around the right side. My gosh, Bob. It seems like he just can turn on the afterburners, and that's what makes it so difficult to bring him down. So the Rams score 6 more. Let's see what they do about the extra point as they try for 2.
40-28 now. I'll tell you, Hargrove reminds me of a mini Brandon Sane, maybe. He's got that extra gear. Once he gets on the outside and turns it up, it's hard to catch him.
I think you're right. Right now, it looks like he's might have been hurt on that last play, but trotting to the sidelines. He's had quite a night.
You know.
Well, he's right now. He just fell to his knees, but going to the sideline.
And he'll turn around and run a 9,900, huh?
Probably will. So the Rams now with a 40-28 lead. I think when I asked you earlier about a high-scoring game, I think you predicted there'd be a lot of points on the scoreboard, and that's exactly the way this one has panned out.
They're going for 2 again.
Stephen Peppers going to pass, going to go to the end zone. Incomplete. Oh, or did he catch that?
One hand.
Oh, my, what a nice catch on the far side for the 2-pointer. So the Rams added 2 to the scoreboard. That makes it 42-28. And the Indians, again, forced to come from behind with some offense, Bob.
Yeah, 31 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Still plenty of time for things to happen. But one of the things that has to happen is the Indians have to shut down Trotwood, at least on one drive, to enable them to have any chance of getting back in the ball game.
Bob, as we look at the second half, I don't believe we've had that stop, have we?
No, I don't think so.
In fact, I'm not so sure how many times tonight Trotwood Madison has punted. Have they punted at all?
Yes, I think they have.
Okay. I don't think they punted here in the second half.
No, not in the second half.
Let's see what happens as the Indians get the ball back. Smeezing. Evan Smith deep for Piqua. Now Hayden Shrub's going to go back. So there'll be 3 deep as Britt gets ready to kick it off for Trotwood. Boy, been a lot of points on the scoreboard tonight, Bob. And we still got a quarter to play.
Yeah.
Here comes Britt. Kick's going to go down to Ben Smeezing. Ben at the 20-25 and is wrestled down right at the 30-yard line. So the Indians are going to have the ball. 1st and 10 on their own 30 as the clock says we've got 25 seconds left to go in quarter number 3. 42-28. Rams over the Indians at this point. Austin Davis back to pass. He sees Hayden Shrub. Hayden, right on the sideline,
yeah, nice
but got it right inside the chalk mark. So a first down for the Indians. Austin Davis to Hayden Shrub. We've heard that combination a few times tonight, Bob.
Oh, yeah, Hayden ran a nice route and did a nice tightrope walking job right along the sideline to stay in bounds. And the Indians pick up a first down. And starting to move the ball again.
1st and 10 for the Indians. Davis. Back to pass. Right over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for his pass receiver, Colin Rowe.
Colin had it, but when he got hit, it just coughed it up, dropped it. So.
2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass.
Tight end coming into the game for the Indians. Looked like big number 85, Derek Height.
We might see Derek see that football again. Hand off to Smeezing. Ben gets to the 45-yard line. And that'll mark the end of the 3rd quarter of play here from Alexander Stadium. After 3 quarters, Trotwood Madison 42, Piqua 28. Just a reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station, your home for Piqua Athletics. Well, Bob, we've got the football, but right now we can't afford to give it up. And if we give it up, we can't afford to let them score another time.
I'll tell you, that was a big quarter for Trotwood. They scored 20 points in that quarter. So, they didn't shut down by any means. So, Indians, I keep saying, they're going to have to find a way. If they want to win the football game, they have to slow down that offense. And I'll tell you, to Trotwood's credit, they have not turned the ball over at all. No interceptions, and as much as they throw it, and they throw it long, it's been on target, and they have not fumbled it. That says a lot about the football team.
And their running game, Bob, they've run up the middle, they've run around the end, so they've mixed that up pretty well for Hargrove as well.
Yeah, I don't know how much you have to mix it up for Hargrove. Just give him the ball, and he'll mix it up himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you never know, if he kicks it outside, you're just not going to catch it.
3rd down for the Indians as we start the 4th quarter of play. Davis back to pass. Looking, he's found a receiver. Hayden Shrub's got it at the 30-yard line all the way. No, it's not Hayden Shrub. That time I think it's Colin Mextraw. Yes, it is.
Nice job by Mextraw. Caught the pass, and kind of twisted out of the tackle. He just kind of twists, and he heads downfield, gets down to still fighting his way down to the 33-yard line.
Gail Mextroth with a big pass, big pass reception. 1st and 10 for the Indians. Davis, this time he's going to run it around the right side. Doesn't have much luck, got to the 35-yard line, might have lost a yard. That looked like a running play from the beginning, Bob.
Yeah, it didn't fool anybody. Davis, he's decent speed. He's not fast enough to run away from any of those Trotwood defenders.
So let's see what the Indians do at 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down, and let's call it 2nd down and 12. Austin Davis. Back to pass. Got time to the sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Hayden Shrub, but threw it a little bit too far to the outside. Hayden couldn't come up with it.
And Hayden slipped back there, too. Maybe that was a good thing because he was double covered. He had 2 men on him, and that would have been a very difficult pass to complete.
Third down. Now let's call it third down for the Indians. Early minutes of the fourth quarter. The score 42-28. Rams over the Indians. Davis bobbled the ball, picked it up, trying to throw it deep to Hayden Shrub. Incomplete. We got a flag. I think we're going to have pass interference on the Rams, Bob.
Yep. They just kind of, I think that was Hayden, they just kind of shoved him out of bounds. He was near the sideline, but boom, defender just pushed.
So a big break for the Indians. They're going to pick up the penalty. And that's going to be enough for a first down for the Indians inside the 20-yard line. In fact, they're going to mark it at the 18. So the Indians catch a penalty break there. Still a lot of time left in this ball game. Now we've got an official's timeout. Officials are huddling inside the 20-yard line. I'm not sure, Bob, what that might be about.
I'm not sure either. That was followed a penalty. I mean, the penalty was called. The ball was spotted. Now first down. They moved it too far.
I think that might have been the case. Now they bring it back to the 20-yard line. First down. Handoff to number 34. That's Arturo Mendoza. But Arturo didn't have much luck off the left tackle spot. Let's give him a yard. That's about all we can do. So let's call it third down. Third down and 9. Excuse me, second down. Second down and 9. Austin Davis to the left side, gives it over to Mextroff. Mextroff's got the ball, going to get all the way down to the 15-yard line before he's brought down by a couple white jerseys. But K.O. Mextroff brings it down, and we got third down. Let's call it third down and 6.
Hey, nice job by K.O. He caught the ball in the flat, tried to put a move on the defender, but he got some help. The defender got some help to clean up the tackle. So the Indians, as you said, faced with a third and 6. 4 down territory down here, but the Indians have to pick up a first down down here.
Handoff that time to Ben Smeezing, but the Trotwood Madison line were not fooled there.
Indians have had a real difficult time the second half running the football.
Yes, they have.
Ben cannot seem to find an open gap in that Trotwood defense, and the Indians have been most successful throwing the football.
So now it's fourth down. Let's call it fourth down and 7. And needless to say, the Indians have to keep possession of the football. This is a crucial play for the Indians. Davis back to pass, getting some pressure, throws it into the end zone. Incomplete. So the Indians are going to turn it over to the Rams, intended for Mextroff, incomplete.
I thought he got bumped around in the end zone a little bit, but maybe it was just the defender going for the football.
So the Trotwood Madison offense goes back on the field. Ball be spotted at the 17-yard line. And needless to say, the Indians have got to take the ball away from the Rams with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the contest.
That was critical, that series, for the Indians to do something.
Stephen Peppers is the quarterback. Hargrove up the middle. Hargrove gets all the way to the 26-yard line, a little short of the first down, but Hargrove probably got what we would probably see as average carry tonight, 7 or 8 or 9 yards.
Yeah, it's hard to stop him for no gain. That's only happened, I think, once or twice in this ball game, and he's been an insurance policy for Trotwood. When they need the yardage, boy, they go to him, and he usually comes up with it. Clock ticking away, 7:40 remaining in the ball game. Still 42-28, Trotwood over the Indians.
Peppers back to pass. He's going to throw deep. Threw it well over the head of his receiver, and that was number 2. That is Dallas Daniels. They haven't thrown many long passes tonight, Bob. That might have been the exception, and incomplete.
Well,
of course, I guess you don't want to pass if you got Hargrove to run, right?
No. And what happens too with Trotwood, you can throw a shorter pass, and their receivers they have a great yards after catch ability, because they can make things happen by catching the football.
I think Bill Neese has called a timeout to talk to his unit again. To say it's crucial is an understatement at this point in time, Bob, with the score and the time left on the board.
Yeah, 42-28, 7:21 remaining in the ball game. 3rd and short for Trotwood. You almost guess that Hargrove's going to get the football in this situation, and you know his track record tonight. He's been very difficult to stop.
We'll see what happens as the Indians huddled around Bill Neese. Rams across the way huddled around their head coach, Jeff Graham. Third down and 1. Stephen Pepper's going to keep it. Oh, pitch out to Hargrove. Hargrove's going to have enough for a first down. A pitch out. Stephen Peppers was knocked to his knees, but got rid of it, and Hargrove was able to take it around the end for another first down for the Rams.
Not very big, but boy, he can make big plays.
Well, he lived up to his reputation tonight, Bob. He gets a lot of press, but I'll be real honest with you, after seeing him tonight, I think this guy's the real deal.
Oh, I think he's already verbal to Bowling Green. He's going to, sounds like he's going to play at Bowling Green.
First down for the Rams. Hargrove again. Got about 2 or 3. That's about as much luck as the Indians have had with Hargrove.
Yeah, and he squirmed for that. Looked like he was going to be slowed down, but he found that small crease and wiggled through.
Got the better part of 3, maybe 4.
Clock continues to tick. 6:26 remaining in the ball game. The Indians trailing 42-28.
Rams up to the line of scrimmage. Hargrove not in the backfield this time. Ooh, Stephen Peppers hands it to number 20. Number 20 goes around the right side. Brought down after about brought down, well, short of the 35 to the 40-yard line.
Congdon came up, made the stop for the Indians. Running back he wanted to run inside, found a hole jam, so he bounced off and tried to kick it outside, and that's where the Indian defense pursued Congdon, got there and made the stop.
Hargrove back into the Ram lineup.
This is where the Indians need to stop to force a punt. And if they go, I don't know, I think they'll throw it here, but they need to come up with a good pass defense.
Stephen Peppers hands it off to Hargrove. Hargrove stopped at the line of scrimmage.
I missed that one.
Nice defensive work there by the Indians. Nice defensive work. Zane Arbogast gets credit for that stop, and he was the one that put the kibosh to Mr. Hargrove, and that hasn't happened very much tonight.
That was the first stop the Indians made in quite a while.
So the Rams are going to have to punt it away. I think this is their first punt of the second half, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. They may not get this off. They had to take a timeout.
I believe they're going to. Let's see what they decide to do. Now, Kennedy Coates comes off the field. Somebody comes in for him. And now all of a sudden, one of the officials is coming to midfield to talk to the referee.
I didn't see them being charged with a timeout.
No. So, no call, but it's still punt formation for the Rams.
Don't understand that one.
Hayden Shrub and Evan Smith deep for Piqua. It's going to go out of bounds right at the 40-yard line, so the Indians going to have pretty good field position at the 40-yard line, but only 4:18 left to go. They trail 42-28. Well, Bob, be nice to put another one on the scoreboard.
Oh yeah, and this has been a good ball game. Unfortunately, if you're the Piqua Indians, it's not as good as maybe somebody watching it in the stands. A lot of scoring, you see a lot of offense, not as much defense though.
Let's see what the Indians do on first and 10. Ball resting on their own 40-yard line. Davis. Back to pass. Got Hayden Shrub on the sideline right at the 50-yard line. Hayden drags it in, and we've got another completed pass to number 6. He's had an awfully good night, Bob.
Oh, he sure has. Made a lot of tough catches, and for some reason, they're giving him that cushion. I guess the idea, the philosophy is we'll give him the short. We don't want him to beat us deep.
I think that's correct.
And it's worked for him to a certain extent.
Yeah, good enough for a first down, so the Indians got it first and 10. Now they're at midfield. Davis. Davis throws it into the ground just to keep from getting sacked, so that goes incomplete. It'll be second down.
I thought I saw a hold out there. I saw one of the Piqua.
Did you see a flag, Bob?
Yeah, I see
Yes,
it.
I do. Okay.
I saw a Piqua offensive lineman reach out, and I didn't know they'd see it or not, but he grabbed somebody as they went around him.
Now, do they take the penalty or do they decline the penalty? Let's see what happens. It was a hold against Piqua. They haven't moved the ball yet, but I think they are. Yep. Umpire's moving the ball back 10 yards. Holding call against the Indians. That's going to make it first down and a long way to go.
Mikey, find the ball.
Davis looking downfield. Intended for Hayden Shrub. Couldn't quite. Nope. Intended for Cale Mextraw. Not quite close enough for him. He had to reach for it, and he couldn't come up with it.
That was thrown behind him. He was open. the ball's thrown on target, he makes the catch, but he had to reach back from behind his back and just couldn't do that.
So that's going to make it second down. Second down for the Indians. As the clock says, we've got 4 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. The score 42-28 in favor of the Trotwood Madison Rams. Austin Davis looking to the left side, to the sideline. Intended for Hayden Shrub, but knocked down by one of the defenders. No, take it back. Colin Rowe on the far side. Knocked down by one of the defenders for Trotwood Madison.
He was kind of sandwiched, I'll tell you. He went up for the football, but it was real tough. He's not going to catch that one with the defender right on it.
Third down for the Indians. Austin Davis getting it the snap right over the middle. He has a receiver. Let's see who that one is. That's Colin Rowe, I think, number 2. Yes, Colin Rowe.
Took it across midfield, so it's going to be fourth and about a long 8 for the Indians. Good job, good route running by Colin Rowe. Got open, made the stop, but I think Trotwood's giving him the stuff, keep it in front of him. Just don't let them get behind us. That's what the feeling is.
Fourth down, and let's call it 8. Davis looking to the sideline. There's good Hayden Shrub. Hayden Shrub is going to get the pass, but he's also going to draw a penalty. I think that penalty is going to go as Trotwood Madison's number 16.
Would we get more yardage out of the penalty? That's a question you have to ask.
Deshaun Young, I think, was called for the penalty for the Rams. Let's see what... wait a minute.
You have to look at the yardage and see, would you get more with the penalty or do you get more with the catch?
And that's exactly what they're discussing right now. I believe, Bob, they're going to take the penalty. Yes, I think they are. And that penalty is going to give the Indians a first down.
That was about an extra 5 yards, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was. Down to the 30, let's call it the 33-yard line. First and 10 for Piqua.
Clock's ticking, or will tick, 3:17.
Looking deep, trying to find somebody in end zone. Trying to
Touchdown.
find Shrub. He got the ball.
Yeah,
Hayden
touchdown.
Shrub on a miraculous catch. Picked it off in the end zone. The Piqua Indians score 6 more. I'll tell you this. They might have been fighting from behind, but they have not quit, Bob.
Oh, no. No, you have to give them credit, boy. Even though they're down, they haven't thrown the towel in. And, boy, Trotwood, I imagine they're feeling kind of queasy right now.
I believe you're right, Bob.
And they realize they can't turn the ball over. That's what Piqua needs. Get the ball back and come back down.
Comstock to try for the PAT. Mick Carnes going to hold it. Kick is up. It is good. So the Indians put 7 on the scoreboard. Been a lot of scoring here tonight at Alexander Stadium, Bob.
Wow.
A reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. Your home for Piqua Athletics, Channel 5. 42-35.
Yeah, I want you to move.
Well, now, Bob, is there such a thing as an onside kick, or can't you afford to do it with the kind of offense Trotwood Madison is going to put on the field?
That's a tough one, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you don't want to
can't give them good field position.
No, you don't want to give them good field position. But if you don't, you need to stop quickly because there's only 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. You can't allow them to get 2 or 3 first downs because they could eat the clock out. You either need a turnover, which Trotwood hasn't committed tonight, or you need a stop. You could take a chance on an onside kick, But, typically this early in the year, your onside kicking team maybe isn't as skilled as you'd want it to be because you haven't had an opportunity to do it very much. And as a result, Trotwood's probably going to put a lot of people up front to guard against that. That's what they're doing. They have, I see 3.
Can you move to the left slightly?
Well, they're moving them all over the place.
Right there. Stay right there, camera 2.
But in this situation, if you kick it a little harder, they have a hard time getting to the football. You might get down there and recover it.
Yeah,
that's
this is
another
the case where they're going to try the onside kick. It's on the ground, but I believe recovered by the Rams, if in fact it went 10 yards. Offside against the Indians.
Alright, they're going to re-kick it.
That's 2 offside penalties on kicks tonight. You don't see that very often, Bob.
No. Well, I think in that case, with an onside kick, guys are anxious to get down there and see if they can recover the football on that onside kick. I think you got to pound away at it here now. Because look at Trotwood has 10 men within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, or the
right.
receiving line,
Yeah.
and they have 1 man deep.
If you could kick it over that second line, you might have a chance to pick it off that way.
You'd have to have.
There's a lot of green between the lineman and the. They're going to try the. Ball's on the ground. Is it?
Did he get it? No.
Well, we see a flag on the far side. That's probably because the kick went out of bounds.
Yeah.
But for a minute there, it looked like that ball might have been up for grabs.
Had a nice bounce. That's what you
Yes,
want
it
on
did.
an onside kick. Get the nice bounce, but
I'm on a replay.
Let's see what
Stay on the ball.
is going to happen here because. Well, they're going to place the ball on the 43-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rams. Clock says we've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds left.
would you like to see a fumble here?
Oh, my.
Wouldn't you like to see a sack and the ball pop out? But that says a lot about Trotwood. They just don't put the ball on the ground.
Hand off to Hargrove. Hargrove picks his way up for about 4 or 5 yards. In fact, Bob, I believe there's only been 1 turnover tonight, and that was the fumble of Piqua.
Yeah, that was it. 2:55 remaining in the game, 42-35 Trotwood. And I'm guessing Trotwood's going to be content to keep it on the ground. They don't want to risk the interception by putting it in the air. They know they're ahead by a touchdown. If they can just run the clock, get a first down or two, that'll be the ball game.
Rams up to the line of scrimmage. Second down, and a long 5. Hand over. Oh, it's on the ground, Bob! Let's see who's got it. Hargrove coughed it up, but I think he might have recovered his own fumble. He's on the bottom of the pile. I'll bet he did. Yep. Oh, what a break for the Rams, and what a tough break for the Indians.
That was it.
That was the one we needed, Bob.
Yeah, the Indians needed to pounce on that one.
Piqua gets the ball right where that ball is spotted right now. We got ourselves a new ball game. But it didn't go that way. In fact, when it's all over, it gets the first down to the Rams.
Yeah, the fumbleooski and the first down, huh?
Yeah.
Clock ticking, 2:22 remaining in the game.
Talk about a big play. That would have been it.
Now you're ready.
Piqua down by a score, 42-35.
Stephen Peppers taking his time, looking at the clock. To Hargrove. Hargrove that time is going to get 2 or 3, but again, now the clock is an ally of the Rams and an enemy of the Indians.
And that fumble made them a little more cautious, too.
I think you're right, Bob.
I'm thinking they said, hey, by golly,
hold on to the ball.
We're going to double grip it. We're going to put both arms over that ball. We break through the line and not allow anybody to strip it.
Second down and 6. Hand off to Hargrove again. Hargrove keeps driving all the way down to about the 35-yard line. Does he have enough for another Trotwood Madison first down?
We got a timeout.
Got a timeout for Piqua. Let's see where they're going to spot the football.
He's about a yard and a half, yard short, I think.
I think you're right, Bob.
Gonna be
third down.
3rd and 1 with a minute and 11 left. All in all, if the Indians don't win this football game, they've certainly done a lot of good things.
Yes, they have, Bob.
Played a lot of things very, very at a high level.
And if there are scouts from the other teams on the Piqua schedule, they are going to go away saying the Pickwick Indians are a pretty darn good football team, and you don't take them for granted. I like the way they came back tonight against a football team that's pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah. And again, we always talk about athletes when you play Trotwood and athleticism, same as it's been in the past. They have them. They got guys that fly around out there, make plays all the time, and you have to be able to match up with them in order to be successful.
Rams up to the line of scrimmage.
Camera 2 is live. Camera 1 at the ready.
Stephen Peppers not hurrying to do anything except watching the 25-second clock.
The game clock's not running.
Over to Hargrove. Nice job defensively, but he's still got a couple yards and probably enough. Let's see if he got enough for a first down. They're moving the stakes, so obviously he did. Ball resting right at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, a touchdown is not important to them now.
No.
Maintaining possession is.
That's right.
Mikey, you ready?
1st and 10.
You're going to run the clock down. Go ahead and go camera 1, take 1.
Stephen Peppers looking at the 25-second clock.
50 seconds left on the game clock.
He's just going to take a knee, I think, Bob. That's exactly what he's going to do. So he takes a knee.
Camera 2, can you hang on? Stephen Peppers takes a knee and a ran back.
Clock continues to roll, so that
The 50-yard line for me. Get the hand
probably will be the last or second last play of this ball game.
50-yard line. Stay on camera 2. Camera 2, zoom in.
Yeah, clock ticking, 20 seconds.
It'll be right there where the official's standing. Just stay there. Stay at the ready. Yep. You are good. And now camera 2.
So that's the end of the ball game. The final score, Trotwood Madison 42 and Piqua 35. Well, Bob Loomy, 42 to 35. I don't know if there's such a thing as a moral victory, but there are a lot of people who didn't think the Indians could stay with the Rams. They did an awfully nice job of doing just that.
Oh, no question about that. A lot of good things you have to look at Piqua and feel good about. The ability to come back, to execute the pass offense. And again, this is against a good team. So, again, hats off to the Indians. They have a lot of games left to play, and they certainly have nothing to be ashamed of. We want to thank Coach Krejci for stopping by tonight, talk a little bit about the football game. Coach, you guys played awfully well, came up a touchdown short against a really, really good football team.
Well, you know, we talked about all week that we had to match how hard they played, and we were so proud of the kids. There's no such thing as a moral victory, but we appreciate the effort our kids gave because we played very hard. We matched how hard they played, and they just made more plays than we did.
Well, I didn't want to use that term with you because as a coach, I know you don't count victories as moral victories. You either want to win all the time, but I'll tell you, plays were being made offensively by the Indians. The pitch and catch with Davis and Shrub. Wow, some miraculous catches out there by these guys.
Yeah, they're weapons. They do a nice job together. They're best friends, and it's good to see them have success because they work hard.
The no-quit attitude in the Indians, that's what we kept talking about. You get down by 2 touchdowns, wow, it'd be easy to drop your head and slink and walk around, but nope, come right back, put points on the board. That has to be a big plus for your football team. Says a lot about them.
Well, that's one of the things you find out in the second game of the year. First game of the year, you're supposed to get better by the second game of the year, and we found out that these kids love to play and they play hard.
Well, the athleticism of Trotwood causes you a lot of problems. They have a quarterback can pass and run. They got a running back that runs all over the place. They have wide receivers that can catch the football and run with it yards after catch. It makes it difficult, puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and especially your corners. Those guys are out on an island there, and everything. That's a tough position to play against a team like that.
I thought we did a great job against Hargrove. We battled. We were tough inside, and we lost the matchup outside. And they got their athletes one-on-one on an island, and that's where we got beat.
Would you do anything different now as you look at this football game and think about what happened? You guys do a great job of preparing a football team. Great preparation, go over everything. But was there anything as a coach you'd look at and say, boy, if we could have done this, could have been a lot better?
It's hard to say. You got to look at the film and see where you can improve. And, that's how you determine or answer that question is, you got to look at the film first and go from there.
Yeah. You got another tough one next week, Franklin.
Yeah.
They're a good football team. They're
Yes,
going to be coming to town. It's no rest for the Piqua Indians, and you have to be ready to play. And again, I think finishing up the game this way has to be somewhat of an emotional lift you can build on. You walk in there and say, hey, guys, you could have beaten a really good football team. That says a lot about us.
Well, we want to be a good football team also, and we just got to keep on improving week to week and keep playing the games, and that's what the sport's all about.
Well,
that's why it's fun.
I think you are a good football team. I don't think you want to be a good football team. I think you are. It was shown tonight, that never quit attitude, the execution of the passing game. Good things kept happening, making big plays when you had to. Says a lot about you. Hey, Coach, thanks for stopping by. As always, good talking with you. And we'll talk with you next week. Like to have you as a guest each week.
Thank you very much. We'll be here.
Okay. Okay, Rick Krejci, assistant coach, always takes the time to stop by us, and it's tough. Sometimes when you lose a football game, that's the last thing you want to do is talk to some guy in the media. But it says a lot about Coach Krejci and our football coaches.
It certainly does, Bob. Well, we got a couple minutes. Why don't you highlight some of the stats from the ball game?
Okay, let's look. Of course, the final score, 42-35, Trotwood, Madison. First downs, pretty even. Trotwood had 19, Piqua had 20. Trotwood rushed 32 times for 229 yards. Piqua, their rushing game slowed down. They rushed 30 times for 70 yards. Passing yards, Trotwood 139 passing yards, the Indians 284. That was the big area where the Indians jumped out. Trotwood was 10 for 19, 139 yards. The Indians 20 for 31. Pretty good passing percentage. I don't have the percentage here, but that's pretty good for 284 yards. Total offensive plays, the Indians ran 61 offensive plays for 354 yards. Trotwood ran 51 plays for 368 yards. Pretty evenly matched in total yards. Fumbles, fumble returns, there were none. Punt returns, Trotwood returned 1 for 36 yards. Kickoff returns, Trotwood returned 5 for 116. Piqua returned 7 for 109. Punts, Trotwood punted 3 times for 31.7 average. Piqua punted twice for 29.5 average. Penalties, Trotwood 10 penalties for 114 yards. Piqua 5 penalties, 41 yards. That's what you like about your team, Piqua. 5 penalties in your second game. You're not making those silly mistakes that can hurt you in a situation. Possession time, Piqua had the ball for 24 minutes and 53 seconds. Trotwood 17:43. Of course, the difference there.
The big play.
Big play. When you have the ball, you score quickly. Piqua was driving down the field. Individual leaders, Ravion Hargrove rushed 27 times. He was the busy man out there. 205 yards. He averaged 7.6 per carry. Markel Stevens Peppers rushed twice for 17 yards, and Devontae Latimer twice for 9 yards. So the Indians, Ben really got slowed down the second half. Ben Smeezing, 16 rushes, 56 yards. Devon Brown, 5 for 19 yards. Arturo Mendoza, 4 for 4. And Austin Davis, 5 for -9. He was sacked. The completion, passing the football, Austin Davis, 20 for 31, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. Great performance by Austin Davis. Markel Stevens Peppers, 9 for 18, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pass receiving, wow, Hayden Shrub, 10 receptions, 140 yards, 1 touchdown. Cale Mextroff, 6 for 69. Derek Height, 2 for 55. The big tight end got in the mix tonight.
Scored 2 touchdowns.
Oh man, he'll say he wants to move out to the wide spot. He said, they need a 275-pound wide receiver. Colin Rowe, 2 for 20. McDaniel for Trotwood, 5 for 95. Daniels, 4 for 36. Punting, Micah Karn twice for 59 yards, 29.5 average. Kick return, Ben Smeezing returned 3 for 65 yards. Hayden Shrub, 3 for 44 yards. A great performance by the Indians. Great performance. They came up a touchdown short, but boy, as I told Coach Crazy, I would think this is a lot to build on.
I think you're right, Bob. Great performance tonight by the Indians. They got Franklin next Friday. We'll be here for that one, of course. But again, when you look back on it, Bob, you're discouraged, but not too discouraged, because you know you competed with one of the teams that overall has been in the state championship a couple times.
Well, when Franklin looks at the film tomorrow, they sit down and say, "Holy Toledo, these guys can move the football. Look at the wide receivers. These guys are all over the place catching the football. Look at that quarterback. He can throw it in. Ben Smeezing, you don't want to give up on him. He can get yardage. I think Trotwood was just trying to take the run away and giving us the pass. Well, you saw what happened. It almost came back to beat him.
Well, that's the story tonight from Alexander Stadium with the final score. Trotwood Madison 42, Piqua 35. Next Friday, Franklin invades Alexander Stadium. We'll be telecasting that contest to be shown on Monday, September 11th at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 5. We'd like to thank the Piqua City Schools, the Piqua Athletic Department, Athletic Director Chip Hare, Media Teacher Damian Skeens, Thomas Beck Tricaster, A.J. Ganger, Director, and the students of Piqua High School that helped us film the game. You've been watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics on Channel 5. Again, the final score tonight,
35 for the Indians and 42 for Trotwood.
Until the next time, this is Dwayne Bachman along with Bob Luby saying good night, everybody.